rustle into rhythm, but the kind that rises on its own, slow, subtle, like a tide you no longer need to control. Your shoulders soften, your jaw lets go. You are no longer performing for the day. You are arriving at a place you forgot was yours. The quiet center, cradle of enough. The noise that followed you all day, the numbers, the goals, the reaching, the grasping. It hums in the distance now, like faraway thunder that will not break the sky. You hear it, but you do not follow it. Instead, you listen beneath it. And beneath it, there is another sound. It's not loud. It doesn't demand. It doesn't measure. It is a hum, warm, low, constant. A soft voice that doesn't speak in words, but in feeling. It says, you are safe now. You do not need to earn this breath. You do not need to prove your place. You are already here. You are always here. You breathe again. And this time it feels like receiving, like something invisible has handed you an invisible gift. No strings, no trade, just presence. You let your spine melt into the bed. Let your thoughts float up and away like balloons with snip strings. Each thought, await release. I didn't do enough today. Let it go. I need to figure this out tomorrow. Let it drift. What if there's not enough? Let it rise and pop against the ceiling of the stars. You are beneath the noise now. You are in the hum, and the hum has a memory, not of lack, not of needing, but of being whole. It begins to tell you a story not in words, but in sensation. A story older than your to-do list, older than your income, older than the belief that more is safer. It says, once you knew how to rest, once you knew how to open your palm and find something already there. Once you played with time like water, not a cage. And once you didn't know the word scarcity, you only knew the word now. Now, the story turns into images. You see yourself as a child, bare feet, open heart, running toward the world like it was made for you, because it was. Your joy was enough. Your presence was currency. You didn't need to deserve what you loved, you just followed it. What happened? A voice entered, not the voice beneath the noise, but the noise itself. It said, you must work harder, you must earn more, you must not stop. And over time, you forgot the other voice. But tonight, the remembering begins, because remembering doesn't happen through thinking. It happens through being. So tonight, you stop trying, you stop solving, you simply float. As you float, something inside you loosens. A knot in your chest, long held, long hidden, softens. Not because you fix it, but because you no longer believe it has to be there. You are drifting into a new knowing, the knowing of enough. It does not shout, it does not count. It rests beside you like moonlight through a curtain. It touches your skin without asking for anything. It glows softly, whispering, you are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are not running out. You are full. You might not feel it yet. That's okay. Belief is not demanded here. Only permission to question the old story. What if, just for tonight, you are allowed to feel like you have already arrived? What if you don't need to reach? What if reaching has only ever pushed things further away? Let that thought sit like a warm stone in your hand. Let it stay. Let it hum. Because in this chapter, you are not manifesting. You are unlearning, undoing. UNKNOTTING. You are letting the loud world of not enough fade behind a curtain of calm. And on the other side, there is space. A room inside you that you forgot to enter, empty but not lonely, vast but not lacking. It echoes only with kindness. You walk into that room now. The air is thick with something familiar, peace, power. It doesn't matter. It holds you. You sit in the center of that room. And for the first time, you ask nothing of yourself. No answers, no growth, no change. You just sit and you listen. And slowly, that soft hum, the one beneath the noise, becomes louder, but not loud, just closer. You realize it's always been with you, not outside, not in a book, not in a program. Inside. It was the voice that said rest when you pushed harder, the voice that said trust when you panicked, the voice that said wait when you rushed. It was you, the real you, the one that knows how to bloom without force, the one that doesn't bargain for worth, the one that has never been broken. You are with her now. Or him, or them, whatever your essence may be, you are held by it. And it tells you scarcity was never real. It was a fog, a story, a survival script. But you are not surviving now. You are remembering. Remembering is the softest rebellion. You let yourself float again, not away but inward. You pass by old beliefs like paper boats on a stream. I must do more. I'm behind. I'm not worthy of receiving unless I give first. You touch each one and let it drift, each one a myth. And when they're all gone, you realize the water is still, and beneath that stillness, there's a voice. The voice beneath the noise that it says you were never empty. You were just listening to the wrong echo. You don't have to chase fullness. You are the vessel. You are the well. You are the cup in the ocean dot, and now you feel it, not all at once. Not like lightning, but like dew on grass, like the first morning after a long winter dot, enoughness dot, it rises in you like warmth, like a quiet bloom, like something ancient finally waking up dot, and for the first time, you feel rich, not because of numbers, not because of things, but because nothing is missing. Nothing needs fixing, nothing must be proven. You are whole. The voice beneath the noise begins to hum you into sleep. It wraps you in remembrance. It cradles you in the softness of surrender. You were never meant to fight scarcity. You were meant to forget it. And now, as your breath deepens, as your body drifts, as your spirit curls into this knowing, you feel yourself begin to move, not up, not out, but deeper, towards something waiting, a garden, a softness, a place where enough grows wild. You're not walking anymore. You're being carried. Somewhere deep within, the pace is shifted. You don't remember the exact moment, but now, there's no more effort behind the breath, no tension in the neck of your thoughts, no pulling dot, only gliding, only softness dot like a leaf on a quiet stream. You are moving, but not moving yourself. You do not resist, and because you do not resist, something ancient begins to stir dot, support dot, not the kind you ask for, not the kind you plead to earn, but the quiet, unconditional support that was always offered. When you stop running from it tonight, you stop, and you allow your bones to melt into the mattress, allow your thoughts to unwind like silk thread, allow the universe to do the holding while you simply become. There is no more striving. Not tonight dot, tonight you are received dot by something larger than worry, wiser than your plans, softer than any voice that's ever told you to hurry. You feel it now, this invisible hammock that holds your soul, and with every breath, you sway gently in its cradle. You are not alone in this world. You never were. There are hands beneath your journey, not physical, but felt, not seen, but known. They lift you not because you earn lifting, but because your existence is enough. You don't have to climb. You don't have to beg. You don't even have to ask dot, just rest. Just let go of the tension wrapped around your dreams. The kind that says I'll believe it when it happens. The kind that says I have to make it all work. No more proving, no more pushing. Only presence dot, only this dot, this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, beating in sync with something much older than fear. There is a language here, not spoken in words, but in sensations. The language of being carried dot, it speaks in floating, in trust, without evidence, in comfort that arrives before the answer. You let yourself remember how it felt as a child to be held without condition, to fall asleep in someone's arms, knowing they would not let you fall. That feeling is still here dot, it never left dot, it only waited for you to stop gripping the wheel. You are not falling behind, you are falling into place. It doesn't matter how long it took. Time is a myth in this softness dot here. There is only rhythm. The rhythm of surrender, the rhythm of being carried dot now. Picture it dot, close your eyes deeper, not just in the body, but in the mind. See yourself at the edge of a wide, golden river. The current is slow, safe, gentle. You step in with one toe, then the next, and soon you're floating dot, carried dot, not away from your dreams, but toward them. Not away from responsibility, but toward ease. And as you drift, the water begins to whisper. It tells you secrets in a voice like lullaby soaked in moonlight. You don't have to know how it's coming. It says you just have to stop blocking it. You don't have to figure out the path. It hums. You just have to flow where you're already being pulled. And in that moment, you feel something shift, not outside, but within. Your desire is still there, but it's no longer clenching. It's no longer desperate. It's glowing. You're no longer chasing. You're inviting. The current carries you through forests of forgotten peace, past islands made of hope, under bridges shaped like old wishes, and the whole time you are still. Still in the body, still in the spirit, but things are moving, things are arriving, because in the softness of surrender, everything becomes magnetic dot. You become magnetic dot. The more you allow, the more you attract. Not through inhale says, yes, I am open. Each exhale says, yes, I trust. And with every breath, the current moves faster, but it never jolts you. It only aligns you, and you remember, manifestation is not sprint, it's a surrender. It's not about forcing the door to open. It's about resting until the right one floats by, and stepping through it gently, like mist parting for your presence. Now, the river grows warm. Not hot, not sharp, just healing. Every droplet seems to carry a memory, a time you were already supported, moment you were already guided, an answer you didn't need to chase because it was on its way all along. You feel them now, little pulses of recognition in your chest. Yes, I remember that time. Yes, I didn't plan that, but it worked. Yes, I was carried before, and I'm being carried again. You release the last bit of resistance, the last how, the final what if, the lingering but what about, gone. Drifting behind you like petals on the water. Only the softness remains, the softness of being carried. You feel your nervous system quiet. The rush in your blood slows, your thoughts become feather light, your jaw releases the future. This is not laziness. This is the deepest form of faith. To rest. To allow. To float. To trust the invisible current beneath your life. And the more you trust, the more it shows you its strength. It holds you. It holds your dreams. It even holds your doubts and lets them dissolve. You are safe here. Not because danger is gone, but because belief has returned. And belief doesn't need logic. It only needs breath. The water rocks you gently. The stars twinkle overhead like tiny confirmations. And for the first time in a long time, you don't feel like you need to reach. You feel like you're being reached for. By the abundance that's always known your name. By the blessings that move in your direction the moment you stop chasing. It was never your job to carry it all. It was your job to be ready to receive it. And now you are. You are more than ready. You are willing. You are open. You are calm. The current continues. The river glows in shades of gold and moonlight. Your body floats weightless and rooted all at once. And just before you drift fully into the next chapter, the water hums one final message. Let the soil of enough hold you tonight. Because everything you once chased is now quietly finding you. Just like that, you begin to feel it, the first sprouts of a garden growing somewhere deep inside. A secret garden where abundance has always bloomed. The night is still, you are still, but something inside you is beginning to stir. Not in urgency, not in noise, but in gentle awakening, like morning dew forming before the light. Like the hush that lives in the heart of a forest, like roots you didn't know you had, reaching down into something more alive. An ancient. There is a garden inside you. You may not have seen it before. Not through the noise, not through the rushing, but it has always been there. A secret place, a hidden softness, a sanctuary of enoughness. And tonight you arrive, not through effort, not by earning your way in. You arrive simply by surrendering. Your breath is your key, your trust is your door, and the silence you've allowed is the path. Step by step, with bare feet and an open heart, you enter the garden. And it welcomes you without question. The air is thick with fragrance, not from flowers you planted, but from those that bloomed in your quiet, in the spaces where you stopped demanding, in the moments you simply allowed. You walk slowly. The grass is soft, like velvet made from moonlight. Each blade carries a memory, a moment where you were enough. Even when the world forgot to say it, you bend to touch a single leaf. It feels alive with something ancient. It pulses faintly, like a whisper. You don't have to do more. You're already abloom. You breathe in that truth, and as you do, more of the garden reveals itself. Trees rise in gentle arches. Vines curl in quiet celebration. Petals fall like soft applause. Every part of this garden is an echo of your wholeness, not your goals, not your perfection. Your presence. You sit beneath a tree whose fruit glows like gold in the starlight, and the tree speaks without words. What you seek is not out there. It was always growing in here. You close your eyes and feel it. Feel the richness around you. Not wealth in numbers, but wealth in calm, in groundedness, and peace. This is what it feels like to belong to yourself. This is what it means to live in the frequency of enough. The garden does not hurry. The garden does not lack. It simply grows because it can, because it trusts the rhythm of becoming. And you are that garden. Every breath is a bloom, every sigh a falling petal, every pause a root sinking deeper into knowing. You are not behind, you're not barren, you're becoming. waters you with softness. You feel it now, everywhere, in your chest, in your hands, in the quiet curve of your spine. Enoughness is not a destination, it is your soil, and when you stop resisting it, it grows miracles. Close your eyes deeper. Picture a single flower in the garden, one you've never seen before. Maybe it glows, maybe it shimmers, maybe it hums softly in a color you can't name. That flower is a dream, one you didn't know you were allowed to hold. You kneel beside it, touch its petals, and you realize this dream never needed proof, only permission. Permission to grow, permission to exist, permission to be yours, and in this space you give it that permission, not with words, but with breath. And suddenly, more flowers bloom, one by one, desires you buried in doubt, hopes you whispered only to your pillow, visions that felt too bold for the world. They bloom here, in the secret garden of enough. Because in this soil, they do not grow from striving, they grow from resting, from trusting, from letting the roots dig deep in belief. You sit in the middle of it all now, surrounded by soft light. The air smells of lavender and rain. Your body no longer remembers the weight of scarcity. It only knows stillness. It only knows fullness. Even in the quiet, you're not waiting, you are receiving. Receiving the realization that you never lacked, that even your not enough was a misunderstanding, a story written in someone else's fear. But your truth has always been blooming here. And tonight, you tend to it with silence, with softness, with deep, unshakable allowing. Now, imagine this, the garden doesn't just grow in you. It grows through you. As you breathe, it expands, not to impress, not to conquer, but to share. Abundance is never selfish, it overflows. You picture someone you love, standing at the edge of your garden. They step in gently, you offer them a bloom, not because not because they asked, but because you can. Because in your enoughness, there is room to give. When you give from that place, everything multiplies. The garden does not shrink. It grows brighter. You are not drained. You are replenished, because giving from fullness is the most sacred form of receiving. Let that truth settle in your heart. Let it become your rhythm. There is no need to hoard. No need to fear the loss. In the garden of enough, loss is just space being cleared for something more aligned. You let go of the old weeds, old beliefs that said you must struggle, you must prove. You are not worthy unless you earn. They fall away easily now, like dry leaves releasing themselves in autumn, and the ground they leave behind. It's rich, it's ready to receive. You lie down in the center of the garden. Feel the earth below soft, forgiving. Feel the stars above quiet, watching. The space between them is you. You are the bridge between roots and wishes, between what is and what is becoming. And nothing in you is broken. You are simply unfolding, not fast, not loud, but in perfect timing, like petals opening to morning light. Now, the wind picks up gently. It carries the scent of jasmine and memory. It brushes your cheeks with kindness. And in that wind, a message floats. You are enough. You are always enough. Even when you doubted, even when you forgot, you hear it, you believe it, not with your mind, but with your nervous system, with your breath. But the part of you that remembers what your soul knew before fear arrived. And now you sleep, not to escape, but to integrate. To let the garden continue blooming in the dreamscape of you're becoming. You are held, you are rooted, you are enough. And as the moonlight touches your closed eyes, the garden glows around you. It hums in rhythm with your breath, and it whispers one last time. Before you drift, the world will reflect what you now remember. But for tonight, just rest and let the blooming continue. And somewhere just beyond this stillness, another journey awaits, where gratitude becomes gold and the quietest thank you becomes a beacon. You are not holding on anymore, and because you are not holding, you are beginning to float. It doesn't feel like falling, it feels like remembering how light you were before you clung to what was already ready to leave. Past is not gone, but it no longer grips you. It becomes something softer, not a story tattooed in pain, but a fog you can breathe through. You let yourself exhale, deeply, slowly, not to force anything out, but to loosen what no longer wishes to stay. You are no longer gripping the wind. You are floating with it. And with each breath, you become a feather, weightless, carried, not lost, guided. It feels strange at first, this lightness. You're used to the tight fists, the mental lists, the rehearsals of what I should have said. But here, in this moment, the need to replay dissolves. There is no rewind, only release, only release. You are not floating away, you are floating backward into trust, into the arms of the unseen, into the memory of what was always waiting to catch you. The air holds you now, not because you begged, not because you fought, but because you finally let go. Let go of the ache to fix what chose not to heal. Let go of the echo that whispered, if I'd just been more, you were always enough. They just weren't ready to receive you. Now, picture it, you as a feather drifting in twilight. No destination, no deadline, just the dance of air and surrender. You turn gently in the current, each spin a memory rising and softening. That they are the words you never got to say, the ending that never closed, the apology that never came. You touch them lightly, not to hold, but to bless. You don't need them to be different. You just need them to be released. And so, you whisper something new. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the moment. I set you free, and in doing so, I set myself free. Let the feather drift. Let it fall backward, not in defeat, but in grace. Because the fall is not a loss, it's a landing, a soft one, into the arms of something more honest. You float past old scenes now, chapters you revisited 1,000 times. And with each pass, the colors fade from sharp to soft. Edges blur, voices muffled. They become background. Not a script you must recite, just music from a memory you no longer need to rehearse. Let it fade. Let it fade like mist touched by morning. Let it fade like stars disappearing behind sunrise. You are still here. You are still breathing. And now you have space. Space where the story used to live, where the ache used to echo. And into that space, something else begins to arrive. Love. Not the kind you chased, not the kind you tried to earn, but love that simply exists, quiet, unconditional, present. You feel it rising in your chest, a warmth, a soft glow, like a candle relit after years of darkness. This love does not say, go back. It says, go home, to yourself, to your breath, to your truth. It does not need to be dramatic. It does not need to be loud. It only needs to be. And in its presence, you understand something sacred. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means forgiving. Forgiving yourself for not knowing. Forgiving others for not seeing. And letting the past be a place you came from, not a place you still live in. You drift further into the softness. Your body loosens. Your mind releases its grip. The river of memory begins to part, making room for something lighter. Picture it now, a feather landing in an open palm. Your palm. You look down and realize this feather is you. And you are finally being received by the one person who needed to hold you most, yourself. You smile gently, not out of triumph, but out of release. You made it through, not by holding on, but by letting go. And now, a wind rises behind you. It's not cold, it's not rushing. It's the wind of invitation, the universe whispering, now that your hands are open, we can give you what is meant for you. You open your palms wider. Not to take, but to welcome. The love that doesn't require shrinking, the opportunities that don't require chasing, the future that doesn't punish the past. All of it drifting toward you like feathers falling from a sky that knows your name. You lie back, fully now, in body, in belief, in breath. The world spins gently, but you do not cling. You trust the air. You trust the fall. You trust that love writes better goodbyes than fear ever could. And so, you whisper to the sky above you, I let it go. I let them go. I let me go from who I had to become just to hold it all. You watch the last remnants of the old story lift from you. They do not resist. They were always waiting to be set free. And you are not empty now. You are full of space, full of trust, full of the wind that carries feathers and souls who remember how to float. You don't have to reach. You don't have to explain. You don't have to carry it anymore. You only have to allow the healing to come without a timeline. Allow the peace to arrive without condition. Allow the love that was always circling back to land. And just before you drift into sleep, you hear the wind say one last thing. Where you're going next, you won't need to carry the past. The river will do that for you. As the feather drifts farther into stillness, your spirit follows gently. You've let go of the air. Now the water greets you, gentle, wide, unhurried. It moves with a memory deeper than your mind, and somehow as you stand near its edge, it feels like it already knows you. This is not a river you need to cross. It's a river meant to carry, not away from yourself, but back to where you forgot you belonged. You take a slow step forward. The water is cool, but not cold. It wraps around your ankles like silk, like a touch that says you don't need to explain. Just come. So you do dot each step forward. The past grows quieter, not gone, just softened. You don't resist it anymore. You don't argue with it. You don't try to rewrite it in your head before sleep. You simply let it sit beside you as you would a tired friend with no need for fixing. Just company. The water rises up your legs, your waist, your chest, and with it, something inside you begins to fall away. Memories that clung like vines begin to loosen their hold. Regret unwinds from your ribs. Guilt leaves like dust rinsed from stone. You're not erasing anything. You're releasing it into something ancient enough to hold it. The river. This river doesn't rush. It doesn't drown. It doesn't judge. It receives because it remembers you. It remembers the you before the apology you never got, before the goodbye you didn't want, before the ache you carried so long you forgot what it felt like to breathe without it. The river remembers the real you, the soft you, the whole you, the you who didn't yet confuse pain with permanence. Let the water lift you. Let your body float. You do not need to swim. This is not a test. It's a return. You lie on your back now, arms wide. You look up at a sky without edges. The stars shimmer like gentle eyes watching without expectation, and slowly, you begin to speak without sound. Take it, you whisper inside. Take what I no longer need to hold. And the river answers, not in words, but in motion. It flows. Past you, through you, with you. Every current becomes a thread pulling away what doesn't belong. Not ripping, just lifting. Old stories, old identities, old burdens disguised as responsibilities. All of them floating gently downstream. You don't chase them, you don't chase you. You trust that what's yours will circle back when it is ready. If it is meant to, you close your eyes. The water cradles your spine like a parent who never left. And now, in this calm, a new sound emerges, a song. The river sings, not with melody, but with presence. Its rhythm speaks directly to your heart. It says, you are not broken, you are not late, you are not beyond healing, you are a vessel. I am here to clear the space inside you. Let yourself be cleared. Let yourself be emptied. Not into nothingness, but into wholeness. For when the old grief leaves, it makes space for gentleness, for grace, for a kind of love that doesn't demand you hold your breath. This is not forgetting. This is forgiving. Forgiving yourself for trusting too long, for holding on too hard, for needing something that could never stay. Forgiveness does not excuse. It untethers. You float deeper now, downstream, farther from the old terrain. And suddenly, you feel it. A place inside your chest once tight as a clenched fist begins to open. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's like a window cracked on the first warm night of spring. A breeze moves through. You, a softness you forgot you deserved. You don't need to be held together anymore. You need to be honest with what's been asking to leave. So you let it. And the river carries it gently, gratefully, as if it always knew this moment would come. Now, imagine this. You are standing in the middle of the river. The water only reaches your heart. It moves around you in spirals like it's dancing with your energy. You raise your arms slowly, palms up, open, ready. And the river responds. It places something new in your hands. Not heavy, not obvious, just a single stone, warm, smooth, inscribed, with a feeling you'd forgotten how to hold. Peace. Not the kind you earn, kind you allow. You hold it gently against your chest, and the moment you do, a realization arrives. The past is not you, it is what shaped you, but it does not get to define what comes next. You breathe into that truth. The river swirls around your legs again, this time with celebration. It knows what you've done. It knows how quietly brave it is to release a story that no longer serves. You feel yourself begin to glow, not in fire, but in calm. You are not rushing to heal. You are allowing yourself to unfold, like petals opening underwater, like forgiveness blooming inside bones. You've let go, not by force, but by invitation. And now, you are lighter. The river becomes still. The water slows. Your body drifts to a quiet edge where soft moss meets sand. You step out, and the water, without words, whispers goodbye. You look back once, not in longing, but in gratitude. Because the river doesn't erase. It integrates. And now, you carry its memory with you, a liquid kind of grace that lives in your walk, your choices, your silence. You lie down now beside the river, on the earth that always waited for your return. The stars, but were brighter than before, because your eyes no longer look through the fog of holding on. You are clear, not perfect, not finished, just clear, and clarity is peace. Your breath deepens, your body softens, and somewhere within you feel the future beginning to arrive. Quietly, kindly, without the noise of the past chasing it. You don't need to run after it. You don't need to worry that it won't find you. You are still. And stillness is its favorite place to land. Before sleep pulls you fully inward, you feel one last ripple in the air, as if the river had one final message. Where emptiness once ached, space now blossoms. And into that space, love will return, but not as you knew it, not rushed, not demanded. Love will return dressed in peace. The river has quieted. The air is still. You are lying on the earth now, bare, soft, and sacred, not because it lacks, but because it holds only what matters. There is space now, inside you, around you, through you. The stories have fallen away, the attachments loosened, the longing exhaled, and in their place, something unexpected has arrived, emptiness. But this emptiness, it doesn't ache, it doesn't echo with sorrow, it doesn't beg to be filled. It simply is, open, honest, quiet. You feel it now, this wide, still room inside you, it's the room you once tried to fill with apologies, with explanations, with people who only stayed if you shrank. But tonight, you let the room remain empty. And as you do, you realize it is not a void, it is a field. Place for planting, not patching. A space for becoming, not forgetting. You close your eyes, your breath is slow, steady, sacred. And in this sacred breath, you meet something gentle, your own presence, just you, no masks. No memory pulling at your hem, no future racing ahead. Just now, and now is enough, You stretch your hands across the grass. It holds you like a lover who never left, No need to explain where you've been. No need to justify your emptiness. Because this kind of emptiness is not absence, it's invitation, It's possibility. It's potential humming like a quiet song. You rise slowly in your mind, as if walking barefoot through that inner field. The soil is warm, ready, and untouched by fear. You do not bring old seeds. You do not bring shoulds or musts. You bring only your truth. And your truth tonight is simple. I am ready to receive without holding on. I am willing to grow without grasping. I am done filling space just to feel full. Because fullness without meaning is just noise in disguise. And silence is where the miracles take root. You sit in that silence, not lost, not lacking, but whole. For the first time in a long time, you're not carrying someone else's dream, living in someone else's goodbye, not repeating someone else's voice. You are home in yourself, and yourself is a temple, not of gold, not of marble, but of air and breath and light. You walk through this temple slowly, each step a letting go, each corner a returning, each breath a whisper. I am here. You reach the center of this space. There is no altar. There is no God demanding proof. There is only you kneeling in your own presence, humbled by how much you tried to carry and how good it feels to stop. You place your hands on your heart. It beats slowly, unconcerned with approval. This heart is not desperate, not anymore. It no longer begs to be chosen. It simply is. And in that being there is love, not the kind that arrives like lightning, the kind that hums like candlelight. It flickers quietly in the emptiness, not to be chased, but to be kept. You smile, not outwardly, but inwardly, and the smile echoes through the room. Even the walls of this inner temple begin to glow. You realize something now, something you could only learn by letting go. Love was never meant to be held like rope. It was meant to be carried like wind. You remember all the times you tried to hold tighter, to love harder, to explain deeper, to stay longer than was ever healthy. And now, you honor that version of you. Not with shame, with softness, because even in the grasping, you were only ever searching for safety. But tonight, you are safe, without holding, without needing. You are simply okay. Better than okay. You are spacious, and in that spaciousness, a different kind of voice rises. It does not rush. It does not command. It asks only one thing. What if you allowed love to return? Not because you reached for it, but because you stopped running from yourself. You let the question hover. You do not need to answer. Because this emptiness, this open, honest, beautiful emptiness already contains the answer. You lie back down in the field. The stars overhead are still. The earth beneath you is soft. The past no longer presses at your spine. There is only you and breath and the promise of the unseen. You don't try to manifest right now. You don't rush to replace what you release. You just rest, because letting go isn't a doorway to hustle. It's a pathway to healing, and healing does not shout. It whispers, it drips, it unfolds. So you let it. Let this emptiness hold you. Let it teach you how full space can feel when it's no longer haunted by fear. Let it teach you how stillness is not stagnation, but sacred readiness. Your fingers touch the grass. You feel something there. Tiny shoots. New growth. Already, life is returning, but not because you forced it, not because you chased it, because you cleared the space, because you stopped filling the silence with noise that never belonged to you. And now, the silence has become a symphony, a lullaby of what is yet to come, not urgently, not loudly, but soon, soon enough for your soul, slow enough for your heart. You breathe again, and the emptiness breathes with you, not hollow, not barren, but rich. And quietly blooming. You smile in your sleep now, because even in dreams, you remember you do not need to reach anymore. You only need to remain open. You only need to trust that what left was clearing space for something kinder. And what's coming will know how to stay without asking you to disappear. It just rises and falls in rhythm, a slow tide, a feather floating, a river fading into the night. You have let go. You are light. You are whole. You are quietly radiant in your own becoming. And just before you drift into deeper dreams, the field speaks without sound. You've made space now. Watch what fills it with love, and beyond the silence, beyond the stars, beyond even sleep, something soft begins its journey toward you. Tonight, you are not chasing anything. You are not gripping. You are not rushing. You are not trying to convince money that you are ready. Because now something has changed. You have stepped into stillness. You have stepped into calm, and in calm, money begins to listen. There is a myth you are ready to release. The myth that money only comes to those who hustle, strain, and plead. The myth that your value must be proven before you are allowed to receive. But tonight, that myth unravels. You don't push it away. You don't fight it. You simply exhale and let it float off like steam on the night air. There is a new truth rising in your body now. It hums in your chest like a soft drumbeat. It vibrates in your fingers as they rest open, not clenched. It sings in your stillness, and the truth is this: money responds to calm. It responds to faith, to ease, to self-trust that does not tremble. And right now, you're becoming a magnet, not through desperation, but through alignment. Breath deepens, the room around you softens. You feel the mattress holding you, your skin warmed by the soft hum of stillness. And beneath your skin, something begins to glow, not adrenaline, not striving, something deeper. Receptivity, the space where miracles enter not with trumpets, but with gentle knocks. And money. Money is one of those miracles, but not as you once knew it, not frantic, not cold, not conditional. Tonight, it becomes something else. It becomes warm. It becomes aware. It becomes alive. Picture it now, money not as paper, not as number, but as a loving energy, a golden current, a shimmering breeze, a silent guest waiting at your door, not to be chased, but to be welcomed. You imagine this energy swirling just outside your body. It waits not impatiently, but politely. It listens for the frequency of peace. And when it feels that peace within you, it moves closer. So tonight, you don't perform. You don't posture. You don't cry out for more. You simply rest. And that rest becomes your invitation. You say to this energy with your stillness, I no longer chase. I receive. I no longer beg. I believe. I no longer force. I allow. The energy hears you, and it begins to move, not as a flood, not as a storm, but as a golden mist drifting into your space. You feel it first in your chest, tingling warmth that hums with yes. Yes, you are ready. Yes, you are safe. Yes, it can. Now stay. You remember a time when you tied your worth to what you could earn, to how much you could prove, to what you had in the bank or didn't, to the permission others gave you to feel secure. But now you feel something new, a knowing. The quiet knowing that your worth is not up for negotiation, that it never was, that it is not counted in coins but in calm. And this knowing anchors you. You are not trying to become magnetic. You already are, because magnetism doesn't come from noise. It comes from stillness, from centeredness, from the soft certainty that what is aligned will arrive. And now money begins to swirl around you, not wild, not erratic, not chase it. You sit in your stillness and let it meet you there. Imagine this now. You are seated in a quiet room. The floor is warm wood. The windows are open, and a breeze moves through soft golden, scented with jasmine and quiet assurance. This breeze is abundance. It doesn't knock things over. It doesn't demand attention. It simply moves where the space is open, and tonight you are open. Not wide with anxiety, but open in peace. You have cleared the clutter of proving. You have swept away the dust of comparison, and now you're in a room of space. And into that space, money comes, like light through an open window, like water to a ready cup, like love that never needed a reason. You feel it now. This money is not just for paying. It is for expanding. It is for supporting. It is for loving. Because money, when aligned with calm, becomes love in motion. It becomes the book you give to a friend, the meal you buy with presence, the gift you send to yourself without guilt. You have known money in fear. You have known it in silence. Now you will know it in calm. Let yourself rest deeper now. Feel your legs grow heavier. Feel your breath stretch longer. Feel your mind unwind from thoughts of numbers and shoulds and necks. There is no need to forecast, no need to plan tonight. Tonight is for the remembering that abundance is not a prize. It is your natural state when you are aligned with peace. Repeat this softly inside. I don't chase. I attract. I don't earn worth. I am worth. I don't panic for more. I make space for what's mine. And with every repetition, the golden energy draws closer, not because you are louder, but because you are quieter. Money begins to mirror your nervous system, and your nervous system is resting now. Safe, still, serene. It hums like a tuning fork, and money vibrates in harmony. And as you breathe, you understand something deeper. Money doesn't rush. It responds. It responds to faith. It responds to clarity. It responds to softness. You let go now of every timeline, every mental contract, every by this date and by that goal. Not to give up, but to give space. You are not surrendering the vision. You are surrendering the grip that made it feel like you had to wrestle with life just to be supported. That grip has softened. And in its place, your hands are open. Open hands receive more. They always have. Imagine now that your hands glow. Golden light rests in your palms, and from the space between your fingers, you feel energy flow in and flow out. There is no clenching. There is no closing. There is only circulation. Money comes. Money moves. Money returns. Because it trusts you now, you are no longer a space of fear. You are a space of calm. And in calm, money becomes a friend, not a test. It becomes a blessing. Not a burden. It becomes sacred, not scarce. And now, as your breath slows even more, you feel your entire body sync with this rhythm. The rhythm of ease, the rhythm of calm, rhythm of abundance. You are not just thinking new thoughts, you are becoming a new vibration. And this vibration is safety. This vibration is openness. This vibration is I am already enough. You say it again in your heart. I am already enough. And the universe listens, not with ears, but with response. Money begins to arrange itself quietly on your behalf. Not because you're chasing, but because you're aligned. You feel your future shifting, not loudly, not instantly. But certainly. And as you drift now into sleep, you feel that certainty hold you like a blanket of stars, like the hush after a deep breath, like the knowing that nothing real can be taken and nothing aligned will be denied. You rest. You glow. You receive. And as you begin to dream, a whisper echoes through the stillness. Now that your hands are open, watch what begins to arrive with love, and somewhere beyond your sleep, current of calm moves on, gathering what has always been yours, preparing to deliver it as gently as morning. Tonight, you are not working for it. You are not asking it to hurry. You are not questioning if you are ready, because tonight you are. You are ready to receive. Not with tight fists, not with a rushing heart, but with open hands, calm, steady, and trusting. You lie in stillness now, and in that stillness, realize something simple, something quiet, something true. Receiving is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is not a privilege you earn, but a state you return to, a natural way of being, long forgotten beneath the noise of proving. So now you come back to it. You come back to the gentle act of letting goodness land. You soften your shoulders. You relax your jaw. You let your palms uncurl from old habits. You let them face upward, toward the sky, toward possibility, toward more. And this time you do not flinch as it arrives, because because you have healed the guilt, you have released the shame, you have outgrown the lie that says, I must give before I deserve to receive. I must struggle before I allow support. I must earn every drop of ease. That story has ended. A new one begins, and this story is slow, it's sweet. It unfolds like silk across your skin. In this story, you do not beg life to notice you. You open your heart like a window at dawn and let it in, because the truth is, what you seek has always been seeking the version of you who could receive without resistance. And that version is here now. You breathe deeply, you feel your chest rise and fall. And with every rise, you imagine the soft energy of abundance floating into you, through your hands, through your heart, through your spirit. It glows, it hums, it lingers, and it asks nothing in return except this: stay open, because openness is magnetism, not the loud, demanding kind, the silent, sacred kind. It's the magnetism of someone who trusts their worth, of someone who doesn't chase but welcomes. Tonight you welcome. You imagine now a small offering being placed gently into your palms. It's not a number, not a coin, even a gift you can see. It's a feeling, the feeling of being supported. Fully, quietly, unconditionally. That feeling wraps around your body like warm light, and suddenly, you remember receiving is not about getting more. It's about allowing what already wants to come, like air to lungs, like rain to dry soil, like sun to open petals. You are not empty, you are open. And there is a difference. Emptiness aches. Openness allows. So you stay open now, not with effort, but with rest. You picture yourself walking through a quiet meadow. Path is soft beneath your feet. The sky is warm, painted in soft gold. And in your hand, you hold a small SATCHEL. As you walk, people smile at you, and without words, they place something in your bag. A coin, a flower, a note. You do not stop them. You do not say, I can't take that. You do not say, are you sure I deserve it? You simply bow your head in thanks and continue walking. Because you have learned, when you reject gifts, you reject the giver's love and life. Life is always offering you something. When you are open, it finds you. Not because you ask loudly, but because you stop blocking it. And the truth is, you have blocked it before. Not intentionally, not consciously, but out of fear. Fear of being seen, fear of being envied, fear of becoming too much. So you stayed small. You said, I'm fine. You said, I don't need more. You said, let them go first. And in doing so, you trained the universe to wait. But now you retrain it. You open your hands and say, I am willing. I am available. I am ready. Not because you are better, not because you are perfect, but because you are present. And presence is the only door abundance ever walks through. Now you see it again, the hands. Your hands, face up, soft, unburdened. You feel a breeze kiss your palms. You feel something settle their light. But real. A token, a message, a reminder. You are allowed to receive without apologizing. You repeat that now in your mind. I am allowed to receive without apologizing. I do not shrink to make space. I expand to make room. I do not resist love disguised as provision. You say it again and again until your breath moves in time with the truth, until your body starts believing what your soul already knew. And now something begins to shift. It's subtle, like a window opening somewhere behind you. You feel a flow, a current, a gentle wind of energy circling you with affection. And you know this is the money, the abundance, the ease you once begged for. But this time you didn't run after it. You simply sat still enough for it to find you. You let it come. And more importantly, you let it stay. Because your nervous system is no longer afraid of holding more. You have made peace with the bigness of your blessings, and that peace is the container. You drift now. Not away, but deeper into this vision. You're sitting in a circle of light, a quiet forest, your hands on your lap. And round you, the trees bow slightly as if in recognition. They know you. They remember the version of you who was afraid to receive, and they see now who you've become. The trees sway, the wind sings, and golden leaves begin to fall. They land in your lap, in your palms, at your feet. Each one is a gift, a yes, blessing that waited for you to be still. You smile, you do not panic. Do not try to use them quickly. You simply allow them to rest where they fall. Because you've realized something profound. You don't need to do something with every blessing to be worthy of having it. Some blessings are meant to sit with you, to glow, to hold space, to keep you company. And money in its highest form is one of those blessings. It stays now, because you are no longer pushing it away with guilt. You are no longer using it to cover your wounds. You are no longer afraid of what it makes you become, because now it is aligned. Now it feels safe. Now it feels like home. You lie back slowly. Let the forest hold you. Let the leaves cover you like soft golden feathers. You rest with open hands, and they are no longer empty. They are cradling something sacred, the memory of your own readiness, the softness of receiving without shame, the quiet joy of knowing you are supported. As you drift deeper into sleep, you feel the hands of your spirit remain open. They stay that way long after dreams arrive, long after this night ends, long into the morning light, because now the hands that once clenched are open to life, open to love, open to energy shaped like money, arriving with grace. And somewhere, quietly, the energy whispers again, in the space of trust you do not chase, you receive. And what arrives next will come not because you ask louder, but because you stayed soft enough to welcome it tonight. You do not reach, you do not grasp, you do not lean forward into the future as if it must be wrestled into. Giving that, you lie back, you rest, you breathe, because now you feel it, the quiet rooted hum of enough. Not because something grand happened, not because the numbers changed, not because the world handed you more, but because your sense of more has shifted. You are not looking out there. You are sinking in here. And here is full. Here is wide. Here is warm with something ancient and still, sufficiency. Not the kind that's barely scraping by. Not the kind that asks, is this okay? But the kind that knows deep in the bones, I am supported. I am sustained. I am safe in this. Breath. You breathe again, slow, soft, certain. And with every exhale, you let go of the myth that more is the only path to peace. Because more never made you feel complete. Only presence does that. And tonight, you are present, fully, sweetly, lovingly, and so money comes to you differently now. Not like a chase, not like a test, not like a prize dangled in front of your striving, but like a friend who walks beside you in silence, content to just be there. You feel it beside you now, not dramatic, not loud, but steady. A steady energy, a soft current flowing quietly through your life, because enoughness is not about having all. It's about recognizing what you already hold. You begin to notice things, subtle things. The roof over you, the breath inside you, the warmth wrapped around your legs, the time you have, the air that doesn't charge you to exist. And in that noticing, you realize you've been in the company of abundance all along. You were just too focused on lack to see it, but now your eyes are different. Your energy is different. Your pace has changed. You are no longer trying to arrive. You have arrived in this moment, in this breath, in this space that holds you with calm. You smile softly, not because of gain, but because of grace. Grace that says you don't need to rush, you don't need to become, you don't need to fix. You just need to feel. Feel what's already true, that you are held, that you are resourced. Only by things you can count, but by things you can count on. You close your eyes, and behind them a new picture forms. You see yourself standing barefoot in a sunlit field. Your clothes are light. Your hands are empty, but they don't feel bare. They feel available. The sun warms your skin. There's no weight on your back, no pressure to perform, no voice reminding you what you lack. Only you, only light, only now. And in this moment, you feel powerful, but not the kind of power that dominates, not the kind that conquers. Kind of power that rests, the kind that radiates without trying, kind that draws in more without needing more. Because when you are enough, more simply, arrives, not to fix you, but to join you. You see it now, a slow wind moving toward you. It carries tiny gold particles like stardust, like gentle energy that sparkles without needing to be impressive. It surrounds you, not to overwhelm, just to affirm that you are in resonance with worth, with wealth, with the quiet song of receiving. This wealth doesn't come with urgency. It arrives in silence, settles in gratitude, and hums in your field. You stretch out your arms, not to grasp, not to seize, but to meet what has already been meeting you. It lands softly in your palms. This abundance, this love-shaped money, this peace-filled prosperity, and you realize when you stop needing more to feel whole. Wholeness makes a home in you. You lie back again now. The bed beneath you is no longer just a place to sleep. It is a symbol that says you can rest. Now, you are not behind. You are not late. You are not unfinished. You are in alignment. And in alignment, everything arrives with less noise. You feel the energy around your heart shift. There is no longer panic. Only presence. No longer chasing. Only choosing. And tonight, you choose ease. You choose calm. You choose the soft power of enough. In this choice. It ripples. It ripples out into the world. It speaks to the energy around you. And that energy responds. Opportunities soften their edges and move closer. Connections align. Surprises that were once held back begin to make their way toward you. Because you have stopped saying, I'll be ready when, and started saying, I am ready now. You are. You are ready to be supported. Not by constant effort, but by inner stillness. By trust. By a kind of abundance that flows like breath. Gentle, automatic, constant. And now you feel the universe rearranging itself around this new knowing, not urgently, but inevitably. You smile, you rest. And in your rest, you receive. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you've become. A calm sender, a gentle receiver, a magnetic presence. Your body feels lighter, your breath slower, your heart softer, because enough is not an endpoint. It is a frequency, and you are tuning in. Right now, right here, in this soft moment of remembering. You never had to prove it to have it. You only had to believe you're worthy of keeping it. You drift now, slowly, sweetly, safely. Your body knows this new frequency. Your mind begins to hum with it. Your dreams open the door for more. And as you fade into sleep, the quiet voice returns, the one that always lived in the background of your being. It whispers, you are already full, and what is meant to flows toward fullness, and just like that, you float deeper into dreams filled with softness, into spaces lined with gold, into the next quiet moment where abundance curls beside you like breath, ready for the morning, ready for more, but never needing to hurry. Tonight, there is no seeking, no scanning the horizon, no questions of when or how or who, no longing stretched tight across your ribs, only stillness, only breath, only this gentle moment cradled in softness, because love does not arrive through chasing. It arrives when you become still enough to be seen. There is a frequency that lives in silence, a whisper that floats from your heart when you finally stop trying to be found. And tonight, that frequency begins to hum, quiet, certain, steady as moonlight. You are not sending a signal of lack. You are not broadcasting urgency. You are not asking the universe to fix what it never broke. You are simply becoming visible. Not by doing more, but by being you, the truest version, the most open, the most receptive, the one who no longer twists herself to be chosen, the one who has chosen herself. First. Feel your body now. Sink into its softness. Notice the way the mattress cradles your weight. Notice how it asks nothing of you, how it simply holds. This is love. And this is where love begins. In being held without performance, in being felt without proving. You are no longer sending out a distress signal. You are sending out a vibration, a warm golden hum that says, I am whole. I am ready to be seen as I am. No longer fear being alone, because I have made a home within myself. And somewhere beyond the walls of your room, beyond the noise of doubt, another heart feels it. Because love is not summoned through pressure. It is drawn to presence, to peace, to the quiet confidence of someone who has nothing to prove, but everything to share. You're becoming that someone now, not through effort, but through surrender. You surrender the old beliefs, the ones that whispered, if you're more this, you'll be loved. If you're less that, they'll stay. If you wait long enough, someone will finally see you. You let them go, like petals falling from a flower that is done pretending. You no longer perform for love. You rest into it. You welcome it not because you need it, but because you are finally aligned with it. Imagine your heart now, not as a fortress, not as a maze, but as a soft lantern in the dark, glowing, quiet, unhidden. It does not scream, come love me. It simply glows, and that glow becomes an invitation. You don't know who will see it. You don't know when. But you trust that the right one always sees the right light. And your light is unmistakable because it shines from truth. It shines from softness. It shines from the stillness of someone who no longer fears being fully themselves. You breathe again, and with each breath, the glow brightens. You imagine it now, a golden filled field stretching out from your chest, not blazing, not blinding. Just soft light rolling across the earth like a gentle mist. This field carries no desperation, only resonance. It carries your peace, your joy, your readiness to give and receive love without losing yourself inside it. This is the love you are. Attracting. Not the kind that demands your silence, not the kind that shrinks your joy, not the kind that plays hide and seek with presence, but the kind that recognizes you by the way you feel to be around. You don't chase it. You don't audition for it. You become it. You become the love you once waited for. You become the safety you once searched for in others. You become the glow that helps someone else feel like they finally come home. And as you do, you are found. Not quickly, not loudly, but certainly, because energy never lies. It may delay, but it never forgets. And yours is now in harmony with the kind of love that does not run, does not hide, does not play with your worth. You feel it now, the hum within your chest, the softness in your limbs, the peace in your belly. This is magnetic. This is your signal, and someone somewhere feels it. Not as a jolt, but as a gentle pull, a warmth they can't explain, a sudden desire to slow down, to open up, to listen deeply. They don't know why, but you do. You've turned on your light, and your light is quiet but powerful. You rest in that power now. Not the kind that conquers, but the kind that invites. The kind of power that says, I am not afraid to love again, because I am no longer afraid to love me first. You smile in the dark. And the dark smiles back, because you are not waiting anymore. You are not scanning for someone to complete you. You are complete, and that completeness is attractive in a way you never imagined. You feel the world rearranging quietly around your glow, paths shifting, hearts moving closer, time folding softly to bring you together. You don't have to know when. You don't have to know who. You just have to know you. And tonight, you do, more than ever, more clearly than before, more gently than you thought possible. You know what you offer. You know what you need. You know what you're no longer willing to hold for others just to be held in return. And in that clarity, you become visible, not to everyone, just to the ones who can truly see, the ones who are ready, the ones who won't ask you to dim your light to fit their shadows. You're not a project. You are a presence, and your presence is enough. You lie back now, fully surrendered, fully glowing, fully safe. Your breath is slow, your body soft, your soul unhidden. And in this openness, you whisper the new truth. I don't chase love. I remember I am love. Don't beg to be chosen. I trust that my light will be recognized. I don't prove my worth. I live from it. The wind shifts around you. The air feels warmer. Your bed feels like a cradle of yes, and somewhere beyond this room, beyond this night, beyond even this life, a heart turns toward yours, not in confusion, but in quiet knowing. They do not know your name yet, but they know your feeling. They know your glow, and they begin to move closer. Not with urgency, with readiness, because you are ready. To be seen, to be held, to be met, not in the emptiness of need, but in the fullness of being. You breathe once more, you drift deeper, and the signal of your stillness continues to shine, softly calling home a heart that has been listening for you all along. Tonight, the world grows quieter, because everything outside you has stilled. But because you have, there is a hush in your chest now. Not the hush of loneliness, the hush of welcome. You are not waiting anymore, you are allowing. And in this allowing, something begins to reflect back to you, not as a memory, not as a longing, but as a mirror made of love, safe love, kind that sees you without distortion, the kind that touches without asking you to shrink. You feel it before you see it. It begins in your breath, soft, natural, undemanding. It moves through your skin, through your bones, through the space between your thoughts. And you realize love does not arrive to fix you. It arrives to meet you exactly where you are, as you are, because who you are when you are not pretending is already lovable, already enough, already ready. This truth settles into your heart like warm tea. It soothes the parts of you that once believed love required performance. You do not perform anymore. You simply glow, and your glow reflects something different now. You are not saying, please see me. You are saying, this is me. And the one who is meant for you, they recognize that. Not because you reached for them, but because you became still enough to let them see. You see yourself now in a mirror of safe love, the version of you that no longer tenses around affection, The version of you that no longer scans for exit signs. The version of you that no longer fears being known, because tonight you know yourself. And that knowing is soft, not loud, not sharp, just real. You are no longer looking for someone to complete your reflection. You are looking for someone who matches it, who honors it, who sits beside it and says, I see you, and I'm not going anywhere. Safe love does not rush, it rests, it listens, it holds. You imagine it now. Close your eyes and see a warm room. The lights are low. The air carries the scent of lavender and peace. You sit on a cushion by a window, watching the sky shift from dusk to night, and beside you, someone sits, not imposing, not saving, just present. Their presence says you don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to mask your softness. You are allowed to be tired, allowed to be real, allowed to simply be. This is the love you've been calling in, the one that does not leave when the mask falls, the one that stays when the story is messy, the one that finds beauty not in your perfection, but in your presence. And the more you become that presence, the closer they come. Because love, true, aligned, healing love responds to truth. And you are becoming more truthful now than you've ever allowed yourself to be. You breathe into that truth. You let it rise and fall in your chest. You are safe to want love. You are safe to receive it. You are safe to be fully known. There is nothing in you that must be hidden to be held. Let that wash over you. Let it settle into the corners that once whispered, if they see this, they'll leave. If they know this, they'll run. Safe love does not run. It roots. It remains. It becomes a mirror that reminds you daily you are already whole. You lie back now, not to escape, but to integrate. To let this vision wrap around your nervous system like a blanket of calm. And in this calm, a new memory begins to bloom. One from a future you haven't met yet. A moment when someone will look at you, truly look, and not flinch. They will not flinch at your history, at your sensitivity, at the shape of your boundaries. They will see the soft edges of your becoming. Want to sit with you, no rush, no rescue. Just recognition. You whisper to the night, I no longer fear being known. I no longer hide what is soft. I no longer confuse silence with abandonment, because now I've made a home inside yourself, and any love that joins you here will only expand it, not erase it, not crowd it, not dull it. You rest deeper now, your arms loosen, your belly softens, your spirit unclenches, and in this new ease the mirror grows clearer. You see to people, sitting side by side, no masks, no roles, just being. They speak with their eyes. They listen with their silence. They love with their presence. That is the love you attract now. Because that is the love you are willing to reflect on. It is not about finding them. It's about becoming the version of you who no longer rejects this softness, and you are that version. Now, right now, in this breath, in this moment, you don't need to fix yourself to be loved. You only need to return to yourself. And you have. Your return is complete. You are not in a race. You are in rhythm. And love moves in rhythm. It is slow. It is sacred. It is sure. Somewhere, someone is learning to listen the way you do, to see the way you do, to sit in stillness the way you now do. And when you meet, there will be no explosion. Only recognition. The quiet, soft kind. The kind that feels like, oh, there you are. Didn't even know I was waiting for this. But now, I remember. You drift now into the hum of your own safety, into the glow of your own worth, into the field of love that feels like home. And just before your thoughts dissolve into dream, you feel something, a gentle warmth resting beside your heart. Not from the past, not from the future, but from the present. From this frequency of safe love you have finally let yourself receive. And somewhere, beyond the edges of sleep, another heart turns toward yours, ready to enter the stillness where all real love begins. It begins without thunder. No grand gesture, no fireworks in the sky, no urgent knocking at the door. It begins with breath, with stillness, with the soft, knowing that you are no longer searching because something has already found you. Love arrives gently. It doesn't burst into your world. It steps in quietly, as if it always belonged. And in its presence, you do not feel dazzled, you feel familiar. As if the part of you that waited so long finally sighs and says, oh, there you are. Tonight, that moment is near, not on a map, not by a deadline, but by energy, a thread of light pulling two hearts toward the same stillness. You rest now, open, available, no longer searching with your eyes, but inviting with Your frequency. The frequency of someone who has stopped looking for a home because they've already built it inside. And now, someone else feels it. You don't have to call out. You don't have to chase. Because the love that finds you knows how to listen to your silence. It hears you not through words, but through energy. Not through action, but through presence. And what it hears is peace. It hears a heart no longer guarded by fear. A soul that doesn't beg to be seen. A spirit that radiates welcome, not desperation. This is irresistible, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in the way sunlight warms a windowsill and draws flowers open without effort. That's you now, soft light, open energy, a welcome without demand. And somewhere, someone's heart recognizes that light. They are drawn to it. Not to fix it, not to use it, but to honor it, because they too have been waiting. Not for perfection, not for performance, but for resonance. Resonance. For the feeling of being met in a way that doesn't require translation. And that feeling lives in you now. You imagine it, two hearts wandering quietly in their own orbits, suddenly slowing, sensing, turning toward each other. No words, just recognition. Like the first time you stand in a room and feel a pull, not toward a face, but toward a feeling. You walk slowly, they walk slowly. And when you meet, it's not new. It's remembered. Because the love that finds you already lives inside you. When someone else carries that same vibration, it feels like coming home. Not to a place, to a person. To a presence, to a gaze that doesn't flinch, to a heart that doesn't hide. This kind of love doesn't ask you to perform. It doesn't test your worth. It doesn't reward your silence. It simply holds, like your own inner home, now reflected in someone else. And in that reflection you find ease. You are not afraid of being seen. You are not afraid of being felt. You are not afraid being loved, because this love asks nothing that you haven't already given to yourself. You've learned to sit with your own shadow. You've learned to cradle your own ache. You've learned to wrap your arms around the pieces that felt unworthy. And now someone else comes, not to complete you, but to join you. To witness what you've built, to walk gently across the bridge between your solitude and their presence. And when they arrive, you do not brace, you open, you breathe, you rest, because they do not come with fire. They come with quiet warmth, like a candle held out on a cold night, like a blanket offered wordlessly at the perfect time. This is love, not the love that burns, the love that stays. And it stays because you stay with yourself, in your center, in your peace. You are no longer trying to be chosen. You are already chosen. By the stillness, by the alignment, by the path you've walked back home to your own heart. And now, from that heart, you create space, a space that someone else will feel safe stepping into, because they won't have to earn your softness. They won't have to decode your silence. They won't have to ask, am I too much? Because you'll already know they're just right. And you are not asking, will this last? You are asking, does this feel like truth? And when the answer is yes, you'll let it land, without panic, without sabotage, without questioning why it came. You'll receive it like you receive your breath now, calm, steady, with the trust that it belongs here. You lie back deeper. Feel the weight of your body, soft against the mattress. Feel the space you take up, without apology. Feel the energy around you responding to your glow. Love is near, not because you willed it, not because you demanded it, but because you became a space where it can live. You are that space. You are the home someone else has been aching to find. And when they do, they will know. Just as you know, that safety is not loud, it is consistent. That connection is not drama, it is devotion. That home is not a location, it is a shared vibration. You've reached it, even before they arrive. You've built it, you've become it, and now you'll share it, not out of lack, not out of fear, but out of quiet joy that says, I waited without waiting, I healed without rushing, and now I'm ready not to be saved, but to be seen. You breathe again. The night is still, the heart is ready, the signal has been received, and somewhere beyond the edges of this dream, beyond the hush of the stars, footsteps begin to turn toward you, not lost, not hurried, just homebound. And as you drift deeper, your soul whispers one last invitation. You don't have to find them, you only have to remain where love knows how to arrive, and so you do. Soft, still, seen. There is no need to knock. No need to wait outside. No need to ask if there's room for you. No need to shrink so others feel tall. Tonight, you remember the universe already built a place for you. You were never meant to fight for space. You were never meant to earn the right to be held. You were always invited, and now you enter the room. But this isn't a room of stone and ceiling. It is no sharp edges, no closed doors, no guarded gates. This room is made of air and knowing, of presence and permission. It expands the moment you step into it, as if it had always been waiting for you to remember it was yours. You're not intruding. You are arriving, and the walls that once surrounded your sense of worth, gone, melted, dissolved into breath. You sit now, not nervously, not doubting, but calmly, like someone who belongs, because you do. Your place is not earned through striving. It is received through surrender, and tonight, you surrender the need to prove. You surrender the scripts of not yet, not enough, maybe someday. You rest in now, and in now, you are already worthy. You feel it in your bones, the soft humming truth that you have always belonged to something bigger, something kinder, something that does not withhold because you forgot your lines. You've been taught to hustle for approval, to audition for rest, to shrink your desire, until it's easy for others to hold. But now you expand, not to overwhelm, not to impress, but because this room grows with you, it grows as you soften, it grows as you breathe, it grows as you stop apologizing for needing, for wanting, for dreaming. You are not asking for too much. You are simply asking with more clarity, and clarity is not demanding, it is sacred. You whisper now, I am open, I am willing, I am safe to receive what is already mine. And the universe listens, not with ears, but with motion. It begins to shift, not because you begged, but because you aligned. The table is already set, not for someone else, for you. Not because you pushed your way into the room, because you stopped pushing yourself out of it. There is no competition here, only connection. There are no guards at the door, only guides, and they smile as you sit because they always knew this was your seat. You close your eyes, you picture the room. It's warm, lit with golden light, filled with soft music. You feel more than here. Every chair is different, yet all belong. Every soul is glowing in their own way. There is space for all, and your presence, your energy, does not dim the light of others. It expands it. Your worth does not take away. It contributes. You're not a guest here. You're a co-creator. You are not being tolerated. You are being treasured. Let that truth settle into your chest. Let it echo in your ribs. Let it melt into your belly. And notice what happens when you stop guarding yourself from belonging. Your shoulders drop. Your breath deepens. Your spirit begins to sing in a language older than doubt, the language of receiving. It says, I am already held. I am already loved. I am already chosen by a universe that knows no scarcity. And now, in this open space, you begin to feel the first wave of arrival. It comes not with noise, but with ease. Support, opportunities, kindness. They begin to form in the air around you, not summoned by panic, but drawn by peace. You have entered the frequency of receiving. And in that frequency, there is no lack. There is only alignment. Only invitation. Only the echo of a truth you've always known deep down. You don't have to fight to be fed. You are already at the table. You don't have to beg to be noticed. You already shine. You don't have to earn every drop of ease. Your ease, your flow. You are welcome. Imagine now that this room grows larger. It stretches beyond the horizon. It has no walls, no limits, no locks. Every time you soften, it expands. Every time you let go of proving, it opens more. And in this space, everything begins to move. Everything you once chased slows down and starts moving toward you. Not because you deserve more than others, but because you finally stop refusing what was already yours. You breathe deeper. You say softly to yourself, I receive without guilt. I belong without effort. I allow without fear. And these words open doors, not external ones, inner ones. They unlock the part of you that knows how to be held. Part that no longer needs to fix or earn or justify. Part that remembers you were born worthy. You remain worthy. You will always be worthy, even on quiet days, even when you forget, even when it feels like nothing is arriving, because receiving is not a performance. It's a posture, a state of being, a soft willingness to say yes before proof appears, and your yes tonight ripples across the room. It says to the universe, I'm ready to be met here, in this softness, in this stillness. In this room without walls. And the universe replies, I already am. You don't need to rush. You don't need to know when. You don't need to control how. You only need to remain open, because the moment you close, you delay what was already en route. But tonight, you remain open, even in your sleep. Even in your dreams, you lie back now, your body a beacon of welcome. Your energy a prayer of allowing. And through the silence, the table shines. Your chair is waiting. The space has been made. The light is dim, the music low, the air thick with possibility. And you are finally home. Not in a place, in a truth. The truth that says you were never meant to fit into small spaces. You were meant to dissolve the walls and let the whole world become your invitation. And so, you do. You dissolve the walls, you stretch, you shine. You stay, you receive. And somewhere in the gentle hush of night, the room breathes with you, making space for everything you once thought you had to fight for. It doesn't knock loudly. It doesn't arrive with trumpets or applause. It doesn't come wrapped in sparkling paper or shout its presence from the sky. No. No. The gift you've been waiting for, the blessing you almost gave up on, it arrives quietly. So quietly that you might miss it if you're still tuned to the noise of urgency. Still listening for the voice of effort, still bracing for struggle, disguised as reward. But tonight, you're no longer bracing, you're breathing, and in that breath, the gift enters. It slips into your space like candlelight, like the first soft raindrop before the storm that never comes. It arrives because you created space for it. Not by force, not by chasing, but by gently opening and staying open. You don't even remember the exact moment you stopped grasping. You only remember the silence that followed, the peace, the ease, and in that ease, something shifted. You stopped looking for signs and became one. You stopped asking for proof and became the proof. And now, the universe delivers, not as a favor, but as a response, not as a test, but as a natural unfolding, because energy doesn't lie, and you become a clear channel ready to hold what you once thought you had to earn. You feel it now, something new, something soft, settling around you like light on still water. It doesn't rush in, it belongs. And it doesn't ask for permission. You already gave it when you softened. It doesn't ask for sacrifice, it brings peace. Because this is how gifts behave when you no longer see yourself as separate from receiving. You are not the outsider anymore. You are not looking through the glass. You are in the room, and the gift comes to join you there. You lie back. You let the moment hold you. You do not analyze it. You do not dissect it. You do not ask, is this real? You let it be real by allowing it to stay. You let it become by staying still. Because receiving is not just accepting, it's recognizing. And you are recognizing now that not all gifts arrive wrapped in your expectations. Sometimes they show up in silence, in warmth, in a subtle shift in your breath as your whole body says, yes, I've been ready. You imagine now a quiet morning. The light is soft through the curtains. You walk into a room, and something has been placed on the table. You don't know how it got there. You don't know when, but it's for you. You feel it in your chest before your hands touch it. It's not flashy, it's not dramatic, but it's right. It fits. It feels like alignment. That's how gifts arrive when you stop demanding them to arrive a certain way. They stop performing. They simply arrive, and you are learning to meet them with grace. Not disbelief, not guilt, not panic. Just grace, because you are not shocked to be blessed. You are ready to be blessed. You are not overwhelmed by the what now. You are present for the thank you. This is the new way of receiving. It's not frantic. It's sacred. It doesn't say, I must have this to be okay. It says, I am already okay, and this is a beautiful yes. You let that yes fill your body now. Your breath softens. Your thoughts slow. Your heart unfolds like a letter that always knew what it would say. I am open. I am safe. I receive. And suddenly, you notice more. The small ways the universe has been loving you all along. A kind word, a soft breeze, a delay that led you somewhere better, an ending that made space for something truer. These were not accidents, these were gifts. Two quiet ones, often overlooked, but essential. And now you notice them, because you are no longer addicted to volume. You are tuned to vibration, to resonance, to the gentle hum of alignment. And in that hum, the next gift arrives. You don't grab it, you don't question if it will last. You don't run to the next desire. You sit with it, you breathe with it, you thank it. And in that gratitude, you become even more magnetic. Because the act of receiving well is the most powerful prayer. It says, I am not waiting to be worthy. I am not holding my breath until the next thing. I am living fully with what I have. I trust that more is already on its way. You feel it now, the flow, subtle, slow, sacred. It wraps around your ankles like warm water. It moves through your fingers like golden air. It circles your heart like hands that don't want anything from you, only to remind you that you are enough, enough to be given to, enough to be supported, enough to receive without proving. You lie back, you close your eyes, you let the gift rest beside you, on your lap, on your chest, in your spirit dot, and in its quiet presence. You hear the deeper message. You don't have to rush to deserve this. You don't have to perform to keep it. You don't have to worry that it will disappear. Because this gift, this moment, this breath, it's yours, not because you claimed it, but because you align with it. And alignment is the only effort that remains. Everything else, the striving, the waiting, the fear, has fallen away. Like a garment you no longer wear, you are unclothed now in expectation. You are bare in presence dot, and in this bareness, you are wrapped in provision dot, like air, like grace, like love dot, because when the gift arrives quietly, it's not hiding. It's honoring the frequency you chose to dwell in. And you chose openness, you chose softness, you chose to believe you are not too late dot, and so it arrived. You don't need to explain the timing. You don't need to justify your joy. You only need to keep the door open dot, not by guarding it, but by relaxing into the moment dot, by knowing that this is just a beginning. That the more you honor what arrives, the more arrives to be honored. You breathe again. You feel the room shift, not with noise, with love. And as you drift into deeper rest, the gift stays dot. It stays not because you asked it to, but because it feels welcome here. And somewhere, quietly, the next blessing begins its journey toward you, softly preparing to arrive, not with fanfare, but with presence. There's a window inside you. It's always been there, not made of glass or frame or latch, but of openness, of softness, of permission. And tonight, it opens. Not by force, not with a creak, but like breath, effortless, quiet, natural. This window does not open to let things out. It opens to let things in dot, to let in light, to let in flow, to let in the blessings that have long been circling your life, waiting for you to say, yes, you may come in now. And so they do dot, one by one, gifts of love, support, recognition, peace, all entering quietly, carried on the wind of your willingness. You didn't shout, you didn't chase. You simply opened dot, because when you stop asking the world for permission to receive, the universe begins delivering what was always meant for you. You breathe, and the air that comes is soft, full of messages. You hear them not with your ears, but with your knowing. You are ready, you are safe, you are aligned with everything you've asked for. Not someday, now dot, now, because you no longer stand at the window, checking the horizon with worry. Now because you no longer guard the opening with fear. Now because you no longer say, am I sure I deserve this? You say, I trust what flows toward me is mine. And that trust changes everything dot. The wind carries things when you trust it. Opportunities ride the breeze when you stop chasing. Love lands softly when your windows are open without doubt. You picture it now, a cottage nestled in the trees, quiet, still, peaceful. The windows are wide. Curtains float inward gently, and from outside the golden air carries small offerings. Feather, a note, a seed, a truth. Each one enters without disruption. Each one settles exactly where it's meant to. Each one speaks a message you are now able to hear. You no longer have to hold the door shut, while pretending you don't need what's outside. You let that message settle into your skin, because you've done that, walled yourself in out of protection, out of fear that receiving would cost too much, out of worry that what comes in will leave again. But now you've changed, you've softened. You've learned that receiving is not about what stays, it's about what you allow. You are no longer here to hoard goodness. You are here to flow with it dot, to let it land, to let it stay. And when it moves on, to trust more will come, because the open window is not a weakness. It is your alignment dot, your yes, your ease dot. It does not mean everything must rush in at once. It means that what's meant for you will never have to force its way in dot. It will simply find you open. You rest now dot, your body light, your breath deep, and you feel the wind inside, the energetic breeze that moves through your being when you are no longer blocking what wants to arrive. You are not holding your breath. You are not clenching bracing for. Disappointment you are receiving softly, naturally, like trees receive sunlight. Like the ocean receives the moon. You are a vessel, not a vault, not a container of scarcity, but a living system of circulation. What comes to you blesses you, and what blesses you becomes a blessing for others. You understand now, to receive gently is to ripple gently. To receive openly is to model what it means to live unafraid. You breathe into your chest, feel it rise. And in that rise you remember, I do not block what is mine. I do not fear what is aligned. I do not say no to the love that knocks softly. You say yes, not loudly, not dramatically, but fully. And with that yes, the window opens even wider. The light grows warmer. The breeze becomes music, and you begin to feel the truth of your own magnetism. You are not just a receiver, you are a home. And blessings do not knock on empty houses. They come where warmth lives, where trust breathes, where there is space. You've made that space, not by emptiness, but by release. You let go of guilt. You let go of proving. You let go of timelines that made you forget your power. Your power. And now you are filled with readiness. You are no longer waiting. You are welcoming, like open hands, like a sunrise with no resistance, like a field that simply allows the rain. You are not desperate for the gift. You are deserving of it. You repeat softly in your mind, it is safe to receive. It is good to receive. It is time to receive. And the wind responds. You feel it now, a swirl of energy moving toward you, not rushed, not hesitant, just a line. It finds your open window. It slips through the space you've cleared, and it brings with it the thing you didn't even know you were ready for. A new idea, a connection, a memory, a miracle. You don't question it. You don't compare it. You simply receive it like a long-lost friend. Because that's what it is. Everything you've called in has always been circling. It was never lost. It was waiting. And now it has found a way in, not because you forced it, but because you opened. You lie back deeper now. The wind curls around your ankles. The room glows in gold, and your energy whispers louder than words ever could. I am available. I am peaceful. I am present. And presence is the highest form of invitation. You've invited without needing. You've called in without chasing. You've surrendered without giving up. You've returned to the rhythm of trust, and in that rhythm, everything dances toward you. So now, you rest. Not because you're waiting, because you're receiving, even in your sleep, even in your stillness, especially in your stillness. Because when the window is open, and your energy is calm, and your hands are soft, the universe does not hesitate. It responds. And as you drift into dreams, the wind carries one last truth. Through your open window, the moment you became still enough to let love in, was the moment the world remembered where to find you. And just like that, you're found. You're full. You're free. And in the next journey, you'll return to the name that was always yours beneath the noise. Enough before the world told you who to be. Before the labels, the roles, the corrections. Before the praise that felt like pressure. Before the silence that echoed as shame. You were whole, unlabeled, unwritten, infinite. You were not trying to be beautiful. You were beauty. You were not searching for worth. You were worth. Like the moon doesn't try to shine. It simply reflects what it already is. Tonight, you return to that beginning. Not by time travel, by truth. The truth that your worth was never something to be won. It was something to be remembered. And so, you lie down, sink into stillness, and let the world's noise fade, until the only voice that remains is the quiet, one beneath your breath, the one that's been whispering all along. You are more than what they called you. You are more than what they forgot to say. You are more than what you've tried to prove. You are something eternal. And that something has a name, not the one they gave you in fear, not the one they labeled you in jealousy, not the one you repeated in your mind when you thought you had to shrink to be safe. No, this name is older, softer, wiser. It floats through the sky like mist. It hums in your bones like music. It can't be spoken without reverence because it was whispered into you by stars. You feel it now, somewhere behind your ribs. The ache you've carried was never about lack. It was about forgetting who you were before the world tried to rewrite you. You remember the first time you felt not enough, the first time someone looked through you, the first time your joy was met with judgment, the first time your softness was called weakness, each moment like a small chisel carving away at your knowing. But no matter how many names they wrote on you, None could erase the one truth the universe tattooed on your soul before you were born. You are already whole. And tonight, you pick up the cloth. You begin to wipe away the words that never belonged. Not with anger, with love. You do not fight them, you release them. Like old dust on a window that kept the light out but never touched the sun behind it. You whisper, I release the name too much. I erase the name not enough. I send back the name unworthy. I forgive the name failure. Each word floats out of you like smoke from a candle just extinguished. Soft, gentle, gone. You are not the names. You were given in moments of misunderstanding. You are not the mask you wore to be safe in a room that could never see you. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not less. You are returning. Returning to the field of wild possibility where you danced freely before. You were asked to color inside lines. You see yourself there now, a child in light, barefoot, unapologetic, laughing for no reason, creating for the joy of it, holding out your hands to the stars as if they'd always been your friends, and they had. The stars know your name, not your public name, not your survival name, your soul name, the one that holds your truth without demand, without expectation, and tonight they say it back to you, not aloud, in energy and feeling. It wraps around you like silk. It melts into your skin like golden light. It touches every place in you that thought you had to change to be loved, and suddenly, you exhale. For the first time in a long time, you stop performing. You stop defending. You stop racing. You rest in who you've always been beneath all the noise. You are not what you do. You are not what they think. You are not the sum of your achievements or scars. You are light. You are presence. You are truth. In human form, you are a breath that decided to take shape. A dream the universe whispered into flesh. You are not small. You are spacious. A cathedral made of stardust and silence. And when you stop trying to earn your place, you realize you were never outside the circle. You were always at the center. The throne was yours before you even knew what thrones were. And now you reclaim it, not with ego, with ease. You don't have to announce it. You simply allow it. You wear your name like a soft crown, not to be seen, to be felt. And when you walk in the world from that place, things begin to shift. Not because you asked them to, because your energy no longer agrees with what dishonors you. You stop chasing love that runs. You stop shrinking in rooms that don't echo back your worth. You stop explaining the parts of you that have always been divine. You walk as if the ground wants to meet your feet. You speak as if your voice carries a blessing. You breathe as if the air itself remembers you, because it does. The universe does. Not forget its children. It waits. And when they finally pause long enough to hear, it reminds them who they are. You are being reminded now. Feel it in your chest, that quiet warmth, that sacred hush, that knowing you are the miracle. Not the one you chase, but when you are. And every time you whisper your true name inside, the world rearranges to match it. No more proving, no more earning, no more bending yourself into shapes just to fit through doors that weren't made for you. You are building your own door now, one made of truth, of resonance, beauty that doesn't ask permission, and when you walk through it, you do so barefoot, whole. You and HIDDEN. You are not here to survive in someone else's idea of worth. You are here to thrive in your own knowing. So tonight, you sleep inside that knowing. You wrap it around you like a sacred blanket. You let it hold the parts of you still healing. You let it cradle your old doubts like dandelion seeds, light letting go. You are not lost. You are not late. You are not broken. You are arriving in your name, in your truth, in your light. And as your breath slows, as the stars whisper the syllables of your becoming, you drift toward that deeper place where the next chapter waits. Quietly a mirror, a doorway, and a pen with no ink yet ready for you to write your worth not in words, but in how gently you walk in your truth from now on. There is a mirror inside you, but it is not made of glass. It does not reflect skin or smile or surface. It does not show your posture or profile or flaw. It reflects something quieter, something older, something eternal. It is the mirror without judgment. And tonight, you look into it. Not to assess, not to measure, not to change what is seen. You look into it to remember, because for too long, you've only seen yourself through the eyes of others, filtered through expectation, shaped by survival, framed in fear. You've tilted yourself to be more acceptable. You've bent your light to be less intimidating. You've muted your joy to avoid envy. You've worn masks so long, you forgot what your own face of truth feels like. But this mirror does not hold their opinions. This mirror does not hold your doubts. It holds you, just you, raw, radiant, real. And as you stand before it tonight, the noise begins to fade. No comparison, no scorecard, no checklist of worth. Only presence. You are here. You are whole. You are enough in the breath you are already taking. You begin to see not just your reflection, but your energy. Not the energy of effort, but the energy of being. And being has always been enough. The mirror does not flinch at your sadness. It does not recoil at your shadow. It does not magnify your imperfections. It simply witnesses. And in that witnessing, you feel safe, because deep down what you've longed for most is not perfection but permission. Permission to be seen without defense, to be known without shame, to be loved without conditions. And this mirror gives it freely. You do not have to hold your stomach in. You do not have to think the right thoughts. You do not have to be healed, cheerful, enlightened, or ready. You only have to be willing. Willing to look, willing to see, willing to see, willing to meet the parts of you you've kept hidden behind a smile. And as you do, a soft warmth rises in your chest, a memory, maybe, or maybe just a knowing, that you are not a problem to solve. You are a story to honor, each scar a sentence, each tear a turning point, each doubt a dramatic pause before another breakthrough. You are not behind, you are becoming, and the mirror reflects your becoming without rushing you. It shows the glow beneath the grief, the strength inside the softness, the truth you've tried to earn that was always yours for the claiming. You hear a whisper now, not from the mirror, from within. It says, you are no longer what they said about you. You are no longer what you believed in pain. You are no longer defined by the rooms that couldn't hold you. You are defined only by the light you carry. And tonight, you stop dimming that light to keep others comfortable. You let it shine, softly, not to prove, to exist. And the mirror glows back. It glows with every version of you that tried, failed, got up, hid, returned, doubted, dared. It glows with the child who dreamed, with the teen who protected, with the adult who sometimes forgot how to receive love but never stopped needing it. And in the center of all those reflections is a soul, still, sacred, steady. Your soul, untouched by time, unmoved by judgment, unharmed by rejection. Your soul does not flinch. It does not fold. It simply shines. And as you watch it now, you see the real truth. You never lost your worth. You only looked away from it. But tonight, you look back. You meet your own gaze. And that meeting, something soft breaks open. A vow, a promise, a sacred. Remembering, I will no longer abandon myself to be accepted. I will no longer shrink to make others feel taller. I will no longer confuse self-sacrifice with love. Love, true love, begins with how you see yourself when no one else is watching. And the mirror is watching now, but not to judge. To remind, to reflect the divinity you forgot you carried. You smile, not because everything is perfect, but because something is real. And that something is you. You touch your heart. It's beating. It's enough. You touch your breath. It's steady. It's enough. You touch the space around you, the quiet, the soft air, the stillness, and it all whispers the same thing. You do not have to change to be worthy. You only have to return to softness, return to truth, return to the mirror that does not measure, only magnifies your light. You lie down now. Let the mirror remain in your mind. It hovers above you like a gentle sky. It reflects your essence, not your effort. And the more you rest, the more clearly it reflects you are enough, even here, especially here, in this moment of surrender, in this breath of honesty, in this stillness you chose instead of self-critique. Mirror sees your mess and calls it movement. It sees your flaws and calls them facets. It sees your fear and calls it fertile soil. It never asked you to be perfect. It only asked you to be present. And you are, fully, finally, faithfully. You whisper now, to no one and everything. I see myself. I welcome myself. I love the self that lives behind the masks. And the mirror echoes back, so do I. The old judgments dissolve like salt in warm water. The harsh voices lose their grip. The comparisons fade into the background noise of someone else's illusion. And in their place, silence. Peace. Room for your enoughness to expand like morning. Light. Room for your worth to become visible again, not as a transaction, but as a truth. You are not being made worthy by effort. You are being revealed by presence. The mirror doesn't make you whole. It only shows you that you never stopped being whole. And with that knowing, you fall deeper into rest. Not because you are exhausted, because you are surrendered, longer need to fight for the reflection to love you. You are the love that meets its own eyes. And as your breath slows, as your muscles release, as your mind melts into a soft glowing yes, the mirror stays with you. It reflects not just what you are now, but what you're becoming. And somewhere in that glimmering vision, a doorway appears leading to a page not yet written, where you'll pick up the pen, not to write a better version of you, but to finally write from the voice that always knew you were enough before the world ever handed you a name. There is a throne. It does not sit in a palace. It is not carved from gold or guarded by gates. It does not tower above others, demanding worship or noise. This throne lives inside you. And tonight, you remember it, not as a prize, not as a symbol of ego, but as the seat of your sacred belonging. You do not need to climb to reach it. You only need to come home, because the throne was never lost, only overlooked, hidden beneath layers of stories that told you were unworthy of sitting there, piled under beliefs that called humility shrinking and called power too much. But your power is not loud, it's not boastful, it's not cruel. Your power is presence, and the throne, it waits for you to remember. So tonight, you walk back to it, softly, slowly, not with performance, with permission, to sit in your worth, to stop proving, to start receiving. You feel the shift even now, a loosening in your chest, a warmth in your spine, a groundedness in your belly. It is your body remembering what your soul never forgot. You were always meant to belong to yourself. You were always meant to sit here. Not in comparison, not above or below anyone else, but in full, quiet claim of your space in the world. The throne does not demand your credentials. It doesn't need your achievements or apologies. It needs only your willingness to stop hiding. So you approach it now, not like a subject, but like a sovereign. You no longer kneel to external validation. You no longer bow to old narratives. You no longer tiptoe around your enoughness. You rise. And with every step, you let go of something that was never yours. The label, the shame, the role you outgrew, the fear of being too big. You shed them like old garments. And what's left is truth. Bare, radiant, ready. You reach the throne, and for a moment, you hesitate. Because worthiness, when unfamiliar, can feel like arrogance. But you breathe through that, and you realize it's not arrogance to occupy your space. It's alignment. You are not taking someone else's seat. You are claiming the one built from your breath, your journey, your soul's design. So you sit. Gently, deeply, as if the throne sighs in relief to hold you again. And it does. The moment you sit, your body feels supported in a way it hasn't in years. As if something sacred says, yes, you remembered. You're home now. You look out from this seat, not with judgment, but with compassion. You see your past self scattered like petals across time. A version of you that begged to be seen. The one who people pleased to feel safe. The one who played small so no one would feel threatened. The one who said yes when they meant please see me. You send them love. You thank them for surviving. And you gently whisper, you don't have to do that anymore. I've returned. I'll take it from here. Throne does not erase your wounds. It integrates them. Each scar becomes part of the seat. Each tear, a polish on the armrest. Each heartbreak, a curve in the backrest that supports you now. You are not powerful despite what you've endured. You are powerful because of what you alchemized. You did not shatter. You softened. You stretched. You stayed. And now you reign from love. Not control, not defensiveness, love. Because worth isn't about being above others. It's about being deeply rooted in yourself. You do not seek to convince. You do not try to impress. You simply exist, and that's enough. You speak from the throne, not loudly, but clearly. I release the performance. I reclaim my presence. I remember who I am without the noise. And the universe responds, not with fireworks, with synchronicity, with alignment, but the soft unfolding of doors that were always meant for you. Because once you sit in your seat, what's meant for you finds you faster. Not because you chase, because you radiate. You become a beacon, not a beggar. You call things in by resting, by knowing, by trusting. And in that trust, you begin to enjoy what's around you. The view from the throne is beautiful. You see your growth, you see your courage, you see the ways you showed up even when no one clapped. You feel proud, not performative pride, but quiet, holy pride that comes from integrity. You made it back to yourself, and now you get to live from this place. No more shrinking, no more seeking, no more pretending to be fine while crumbling inside. You are full, and that fullness is magnetic. It draws in respect, love, support, and peace, because the world begins to reflect how you hold yourself. And from this throne, you hold yourself. Gently, powerfully, without apology. Your spine lengthens, your jaw relaxes, your heart opens. You're not bracing anymore. You're blooming. And as you sit, the throne glows beneath you. It was never cold stone. It was never made to intimidate. It's made of light, of memory, of home. And tonight, it wraps around you like a cloak, a sacred remembering of the self before distortion, the soul before roles, the name before the world added conditions. You feel the warmth of your own worth, not borrowed, not conditional, not dependent on outcome, pure, innate, enduring. You whisper a vow to yourself now, a new kind of promise. I will not abandon this throne for approval. I will not leave my knowing to chase temporary applause. I will sit here in softness and power and trust that what's mine will always find me. And the air shifts. The old winds of proving disappear. The rush of striving dissolves. You sit, and in sitting, you rise, because nothing rises higher than the soul who finally remembers. I am not what I do. I am what I am. And what I am is enough. You rest now, still seated in your worth, still wrapped in its truth. And as sleep approaches, you don't fall, you float. Held by the energy of your own return, cradled by the light of remembrance, breathed into by the love you once gave away, now circling back to you. And in the quiet, a final whisper drifts through your body. The throne is yours, and you never have to leave it again. As your breath deepens, as the stars press their palms against your window, you gently turn toward the next journey, one where your worth walks beside you, not as armor, but as sunlight. You lie back. The day is behind you now. The noise has faded. The edges of the world begin to blur, and as your body softens into the bed, you remember something gentle and ancient. You are allowed to dream, only in sleep, but before it, because dreams are not escape, they are return. Return to the place inside you where imagination and truth touch hands, where what is desired is not distant, but present. So you close your eyes, not to drift away, but to arrive. You arrive in the quiet space where your soul gets to speak without interruption. Here, you don't manifest from hunger. You manifest from home, a home within, a home made of calm, a home made of images that soothe, not stir. You take a breath, and with it, the first brushstroke of your dream arrives. It begins slowly, softly, like mist curling over still waters. You are walking barefoot. The ground is warm, forgiving. It knows your step. It welcomes you. The sky is amber with evening. There are no sharp sounds, only the hush of possibility. And in this place, you do not have to make anything happen. You only have to allow it to unfold. You pause under a tree. It's full of small, glowing lights, fireflies maybe, or tiny wishes that never expired. You reach out your hand. One settles on your fingertip. It pulses once, twice, and you hear it, a whisper, soft, certain. It says you are safe here. This dream is yours to shape, not to force, to follow. You nod, because you believe it. Not as hope, but as remembering. You begin to walk again, and every step reveals more. The air shifts. You are not on a path. The dream does not have roads. It is resonance. Where your heart moves, the landscape bends to meet you. You think of warmth, and a cottage appears. You think of peace, and a garden blooms. You think of love, and laughter echoes ahead. You do not chase these things. They appear because you feel them first. That is the secret, the ancient art. The dream is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the vibration that calls the future closer. It is the lullaby that quiets doubt and sings certainty into your skin. You sit now by a small stream. The water glows blue, not from reflection, but from within. It sings a melody with no words, only meaning. And as you listen, you understand your mind does not need to solve tonight. It only needs to see. See the life that waits. See the softness ahead. See yourself living gently, with ease, with joy. You imagine it now. Not as a flash, as a scene. You wake in your home, sunlight on the sheets, no alarm. Just your breath, steady and sweet. You stretch, not in tension, in delight. You know the day holds ease. You know the hours will hold your hands. You picture breakfast slow, warm, simple. You picture the message that comes unexpected, but perfectly timed. You see the small things that hold big meaning. A smile at the door, book waiting for you, a breeze that carries something you didn't know you missed. This is not fantasy. This is frequency, and you are tuning to it now. Your nervous system begins to match this imagined calm. Your breath finds its own rhythm. Your heart slows, not in fatigue, but in knowing, because the body follows what the mind rehearses. And tonight, your rehearsal is rest. You walk into the home of your vision. You run your hands across the furniture. You light a candle, though it was never dark. You hear your own voice speaking kindly, not rushed, not worried, just certain. You speak as someone who knows the universe speaks back in echoes. And right now, your echo says, I already feel it. I already trust it. I already live it. You do not need every detail. You do not need every answer. You only need the feeling, the ease, the joy, the gentle belonging in the scene you choose to build. And that scene grows. You see a table set for you, not for guests, not for performance, for presence. There is no lack here. Only what is lovingly enough. A cup of tea, a note someone left. You, a window cracked open to let in the scent of jasmine. You breathe that in now, slow, grateful. Because gratitude is the ink of your inner vision. It fills the outlines, it colors the quiet. You whisper, thank you for this feeling. And the dream expands. You are met by someone now. They do not speak, but they smile. And in their gaze is the reflection of your own peace. You feel seen, not for what you do, not for what you give, just for being. You sit beside them, you do not need to explain. They already know. Because in this dream, there are no guards at the door of connection. There is only resonance, only souls who know your soul and say, you don't need to try so hard, and you don't, not here, not anymore. You rest your head. The dream begins to slow, not because it ends, but because you have become it. You have merged with the frequency. You have become the lullaby. And in that merge, manifestation loses its strain. Because what you feel now is not a wish, but a truth unwrapped. You let go of how. You let go of when. You float in the knowing that it is already unfolding, already aligning, already arriving, not outside you, through you. This dream was not built from want. It was built from receiving. And you receive it now, like water in cupped hands, like sunlight on bare skin, like a melody you've heard before but only just remembered. You lie back deeper. The cottage fades into stars. The stream becomes sky. The air hums with completion. But not the kind that ends, the kind that begins. Again, because every night you can return here, shape the softness again. Sing your next scene into motion. Not because you need to escape, but because you are learning the art of coming home. Home to your inner vision. Home to your quiet power. Home to the dream before the dream, where you don't just imagine, you become, you receive. You rest, and as sleep drapes over you, the dream continues quietly beneath your breath, waiting to return again tomorrow night, a little clearer, a little closer, a little more real than before. There is a scene within you, not made of memory, not borrowed from fantasy, but grown from the garden of your becoming. And tonight, it smiles back at you. It does not wait for permission. It does not beg to be believed. It simply arrives quiet, complete, and full of warmth. You've seen parts of it before, in your longings, in your silences, in those soft moments where the world paused and you almost remembered what it feels like to live. As if everything loves you back. Tonight, that feeling stays. It anchors. You take a breath, slow and deep, and the air is already familiar. It smells like what peace would smell like if peace had a scent, like warm earth after rain, like the pages of a beloved book, like something that says you're already safe here. You step inside the vision, not from effort, but from ease. The ground beneath you adjusts. It's soft velvet soft, and every step you take feels like being held. You look ahead, there it is. The scene. You're seeing. Not one you forced to appear, but one that was always waiting for you to stop chasing and start listening. It unfolds slowly. A path, a home, a glow that doesn't come from any lamp, but from the frequency of fulfillment itself. The doors open not because you knock, but because you're known. The scene knows you. It has waited for your arrival like a lover at the station who always knew you'd find your way back. You step inside. The room is filled with light, not dazzling, but golden. Like late afternoon when the sun is unhurried and time becomes a soft exhale, the walls hold memories that haven't happened yet but already feel true. You see yourself here, laughing, creating, resting, being fully met, and the scene, it responds. It mirrors back the version of you that you're just beginning to trust again. The version that doesn't overthink, doesn't beg, doesn't wait for validation. The version that glows without trying. You sit. The chair fits you like it was carved for your frame. The cushion molds gently to your form. Even here, you are supported. You let your hands rest in your lap. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw softens, and the dream breathes with you, It doesn't rush. It has no urgency. It holds space like a dear friend who says, take your time. You're not late. You're here. You begin to speak aloud, but not in words, in feeling. You feel yourself say, this is my scene. I belong here. I don't have to reach for this. I only have to remember it. And the scene glows. You walk to a window. Outside, the garden blooms. You didn't plant it. You dreamed it, and now it grows with the rhythm of your belief. Roses open when you breathe. Lavender waves with your thoughts. A tree stretches its branches like it's been waiting to shade you, to know you. To be part of your vision, you walk outside, barefoot, unarmored, home. A breeze wraps around your skin, not cool, not warm. Just right, and the sun greets you not as a source of light, but as a witness. It sees you, it recognizes you, and it smiles back. You pause to soak it in. The softness, the alignment, the gentle unfolding of a reality you once thought you had to earn, but now know how to feel into. And that feeling, it's everything, because the law of attraction doesn't move by force, it moves by feeling. In you, you're feeling what it's like to live the life that loves you. Not the one you think you should want, but the one that feels like an exhale, real, resonant. Right, you walk along a path now. Your path, it curves with elegance as if the very soil is choreographed to meet your step. You pass by moments made real, a letter on a table, a book you wrote. The message of good news you imagined once that now floats in the air as if already. Perceived the universe is mirroring your softness. Because softness is not weakness, it is the language of surrender. It is the birthplace of receiving, You lie down in the grass, The clouds move like slow wishes. The sky hums in a hue that has no name, just a feeling. Open, you place your hand on your heart. It beats steady, and your breath is the lullaby now. You say, I allow, that's it, just allow. Allow the scene to stay, allow the feeling to root. Allow the knowing to settle like warm rain over thirsty ground. Because this dream doesn't ask for effort, it asks for embodiment. You're not asking anymore. You are aligning, and as you do, the scene grows more vivid, more textured, more detailed, not because you force it, because you are becoming it, every soft moment you sink into this vision. You lay a brick in the bridge between the invisible and the real. And that bridge is not made of time. It's made of frequency, You are there because you are here. And here is a match for everything there ever held. The dream smiles back. Because you finally stopped pushing and started partnering. You finally stopped yearning and started receiving. You are not rehearsing a better future. You are dancing with it now, with each slow breath, each subtle belief, each micro moment of allowing. You do not grip the dream, you float in it, and as you do, it wraps around you like a shawl spun from starlight. You feel the warmth of the version, you who already lives this life. And they are not a stranger, they are you, just a breath ahead. So you breathe again, and the dream deepens. You return to the doorway of the cottage. You step inside, you make tea. You sit by a window, you hear soft music in another room, faint but familiar. Everything in this scene knows you, the cup, the chair, the silence. They all reflect back one sacred truth. You're not far, you're just remembering. And every time you come back to this scene, you make it easier for reality to echo it. Not from magic, from alignment, from the decision to hold this softness long enough for it to materialize. You lie down now, in the dream, in the bed, in the breath. There is no rush. There is no deadline. Only you, and the version of life that rises to greet you the moment you become soft enough to receive it fully. The windows dim, the air slows, the dream exhales with you. And just before sleep pulls you deeper, the scene leans close and whispers gently, come back tomorrow, I'll still be here, growing with you, becoming you. The dream is no longer far away, it does not hover on the horizon. It does not whisper from a place out of reach, it is here, And tonight you become the one who receives it, because dreaming was never the end goal. Dreaming was always the invitation, and receiving gently, fully, without resistance is the act of love that makes it real. So you lie back once more, but something is different now. Your breath carries ease. Your chest holds more space. Your eyes close, not in escape, but in trust. You are not trying to hold the vision. You are becoming the one it belongs to. And that becoming is soft. No grand announcement. No need to prove you are ready. Just a deep, quiet yes that begins to echo from your body to your soul. You feel it now, a ripple. Outside inside, a subtle shift in how you relate to the things you once reached for. You no longer chase the dream. You prepare a place for it to land. You are the open field, the resting branch, the calm tide. You do not grip the dream. You become the frequency it recognizes. And that changes everything. You rise within your vision, not as an actor, but as the owner. You're no longer a visitor in the scene. You are home. You pour tea in a kitchen that smells of citrus and morning. You open a window that lets in the breeze of possibility. You move through the space with belonging, as if the walls were molded from your belief. There is no pretending here. There is only presence. You don't visualize with effort anymore. You live it with ease. The smile on your face isn't imagined. It comes from feeling safe. Safe in your body, safe in your being, safe in the life that's forming gently around your peace. And from that safety, you allow more. Not more effort, more reception. More love, more support. Moments where everything aligns without struggle. Because the dream responds not to your force, but to your faith. And your faith is full now, not blind, not desperate, rooted. You know it because you feel it. And what you feel, you become. And what you become, you receive. It starts small. A letter arrives in your hands. The handwriting is yours, older, wiser, clearer. You open it slowly. It reads, you didn't need to become more to be worthy of this life. You only needed to allow it. And now you are. And that is everything. Tears form not from sadness, from recognition that something in you exhaled long ago, and tonight it finally breathes in again. You fold the letter, place it on the table, feel its truth nestle into your bones. You walk through your scene once more. Every detail responds to you. The air warms at your touch. The music shifts to match your mood. Even the shadows bend lovingly around your presence. You speak out loud, not to ask, but to affirm. I receive what matches my softness. I receive what honors my joy. I receive without tension, without fear, without needing to prove. And the dream responds not with applause, but with integration. A shift in your cells, a new tempo in your breath, a stillness that feels like certainty. You are not waiting anymore. You are becoming, and in becoming, you allow everything you've dreamed to recognize you and walk toward you with the same grace. You once used to imagine it. You sit beside a window now. The sun sets slow and peach-colored. A bird sings once, then disappears into the branches. It's quiet, but not empty. It's full of presence. Kind of presence you can only feel when you stop reaching and start receiving. You speak again. Not loud, not rehearsed. Just a whisper from the heart. I allow love to find me softly. I allow money to flow where it is loved. I allow health to rise in my cells like sunlight through leaves. I allow joy to visit often and stay long. You smile, not because everything is perfect, but because everything feels possible from this place of calm. This calm is your magnet. It draws the dream in, not through drama, but through invitation. Because dreams don't land in chaos. They land in clarity, in softness, in surrender. You are that surrender now, and you feel it. Like warm water, like silk against skin, like a homecoming that doesn't need words. You are not the one who begs the door to open. You are the door, and the dream walks through because it always belonged here. You sit with it now, your dream. Not as something outside of you, but as something of you. It smiles back. Not with teeth, with trust. It leans close and asks you only one thing. Will you stay soft enough to let me stay? And you nod. Because you understand now. The dream was never kept away by time or worth. It was kept away by resistance. And resistance is melting now, like snow in spring, like old stories losing their grip. You rest your head on a pillow. The dream rests beside you. It breathes with you. It curls around your thoughts. It whispers, now we create together. Now we live in tandem. Now every breath you take makes me more real. And you believe it, not blindly. Bodily, your cells vibrate with reception. Your chest rises with readiness. Your soul stretches out like a cat in the sun. This is the frequency of fulfillment. Not rival, but harmony. You are no longer just dreaming. You are being. Dreamed back by a universe that has been waiting for your softness to return, and it has. So you sleep now, not to forget, but to receive more deeply. You close your eyes as the dream wraps around you like warm dusk. No pressure, no timeline. Just the knowing that everything you imagine is already making its way to you at the base of your peace. And as your breath slows, as your chest lifts and falls like waves, you whisper one final thing into the space between worlds. I am the one who dreams, and I am the one who receives. And I don't have to choose between them anymore. The dream hears you, and it stays. You lie still beneath the softness of night, your breath slow, your heart tender. And somewhere inside you, a quiet knowing begins to rise, a whisper so gentle, yet so clear. You've been carrying what was never yours to hold. Stories, blame, shadows that found a home in your body but not in your soul. And tonight you begin to lay them down, not all at once, not with a scream, but with each breath, slow, steady. Surrender, because forgiveness is not forgetting. It is remembering yourself beneath the burden. You are not the pain, you are the one who felt it. You are not the wound, you are the one who survived, and now you are ready to become the one who releases, So you breathe in, you feel the weight that clings quietly at the edges, the unspoken grief, the unprocessed moments, the things you told yourself to bury in order to move on. But tonight, you do not bury, you unearth. Gently, with kindness, you let it rise, not to relive it, to release it, because your freedom begins the moment you stop calling it yours. The moment you whisper, this isn't mine to carry anymore. You remember the first story, the one that said you weren't enough, that if you were only different, quieter, stronger, then maybe they would have stayed. Maybe they would have loved better. Maybe the pain wouldn't have come. But that story isn't yours, It was placed on you by someone who never healed. And you don't have to hold it anymore. You breathe it out now, like smoke, like mist, like something your body has been waiting to release for years. And as it leaves, your shoulders soften, your chest opens, your heart finds a little more space. You whisper again, this weight is not mine. I choose peace over punishment. And you feel it, a shift, subtle but real. You move to the next story, the one that says forgiveness is weakness. That if you let go, they win. That if you stop hurting, you'll forget what they did. But forgiveness is not forgetting. It is freedom. It is the moment you realize you don't have to carry their choices in your body anymore. You don't need to hold resentment as proof that it mattered. Your pain already proved that. Your tears already honored that. Your healing honors it now. You sit with that knowing. You let it settle into your bones. You say aloud, forgiveness is not approval. It is my permission to stop bleeding for a wound I didn't create. And the air softens. Your breath becomes fuller. The night hums with gentle understanding. You think now of all the moments you turned away from yourself to protect someone else. The times you silenced your truth to keep the peace. The times you blamed yourself because no one else would take responsibility, and you realized that was survival. That was your heart trying to stay safe, but now you are safe. And you can return to yourself without fear. You place a hand on your heart. You whisper, I'm so sorry for everything you've held. You don't have to hold it anymore. And your body hears you. The muscles unclench. The tension loosens. The old guards at the gates of your soul step aside. You are not broken. You are brave. And your bravery now is not in holding on. It is in letting go. You picture the weighted stones in a satchel across your back. Each one a moment, a name. A word, a silence that screamed. You've carried them because you thought they made you strong. But strength is not the same as suffering, and so, one by one, you begin to place them down, not angrily, not bitterly, lovingly, with reverence, because even the pain had purpose, even the wound taught you something. But you do not need to carry the lesson in your spine forever. You can thank the stone and release it. You can say, I learned, and now I'm ready to live differently. The satchel becomes lighter, your back straightens, your step becomes softer. You are not collapsing, you are returning to a self that knows peace is your birthright. Not something you must buy with pain. You pause here, let the stillness sink in. Let your breath reintroduce you to your own body without the burden. You imagine forgiveness now, not as a task, but as a warm light. It lives in your chest. It glows gently, it expands each time you say, I set myself free. They may never understand. They may never change, but I no longer chain my joy to their apology. You're not waiting anymore. You are liberating, and liberation doesn't need permission from anyone but your soul. You rest deeper into the bed. Your body, used to tension, begins to trust the softness. You tell yourself, I am allowed to forgive for me, not for them, not for closure, but for the quiet that waits beyond the noise. And in that quiet, you begin to hear something else. Voice beneath the weight, your voice, unburdened, clear, steady. It says you were always worthy, even when they couldn't see it, even when you forgot, even when the pain spoke louder than the love. You believe it now, not in your head, in your bones, because your body remembers what your soul never forgot. You were never meant to carry this forever. You release one more stone, the heaviest one, the one that told you you were to blame, that maybe it was your fault, that maybe if you were just a little more perfect, the love wouldn't have left. But perfection isn't protection, and abandonment was never your fault. You breathe out that lie. You feel it dissolve like fog in sunlight, and in its place you feel spaciousness, a clearing, a soft field where only love may grow. You whisper once more, I forgive you for not knowing better, and I forgive me for believing I had to earn what should have been freely given. Your breath deepens, your chest rises slowly, your mind quiets. Forgiveness is not a finish line. It's a practice, a prayer, a return. And tonight, you've begun that return to yourself, to your softness, to the version of you that doesn't flinch anymore at the memory, that doesn't tighten when the name is spoken. You're not numb. You are healing, and in that healing, you feel your power, not as fire, as water. Flowing, cleansing, moving past the stuck places with patience. You whisper now to yourself, I don't need justice to reclaim my peace. I only need willingness to stop hurting myself with someone else's mistake. And that willingness is here. You've called it in. You rest now, lighter, freer, truer. The night wraps around you, not in silence, but in song, a song only heard when you've made space. For peace to land, you feel your body float in that space. Not disconnected, finally deeply connected. And just before sleep takes your hand, you whisper gently, the weight was never mine, and I do not need it to prove anything anymore. You close your eyes, and as you do, forgiveness flows through you, not as a word, but as a warm wind, carrying you home to yourself. There is a room inside you that holds echoes, not voices that speak anymore, but those that once did and then didn't, those that promised to stay and then disappeared like vapor. A room where silence fell to, suddenly where footsteps faded without a goodbye. Tonight, you return to that room, not to grieve again, but to retrieve the pieces of yourself you left behind. Because forgiveness is not about who stayed. It's about who remains and who's been waiting for you inside your own heart. You breathe slowly, the way you do when you're about to open a door you closed long ago. Your body knows this place. Your breath changes as you enter. There's a shift, an ache that lives in your chest like a memory still kneeling, but you do not flinch. You are stronger now, not harder, stronger, softer in your power, wiser in your peace. The room is quiet, no one else is there, but you feel the residue of words left unfinished, of feelings that had no home, of love that went unanswered. And still, you stand in the middle and you breathe. Forgiveness begins where explanation ends. You may never understand why they left, why they hurt you, why they couldn't love you gently, but forgiveness was never about them. It was always about you choosing to live without dragging the door. They closed into every new chapter. So you exhale, and in that exhale, you feel a tiny crack in the silence, not pain, release. Because the moment you allow yourself to feel grief fully, without judging it, without racing past it, is the moment your healing begins. You walk to the corner of the room. There's a box. It's old, but not locked. It holds the beliefs you packed away the day they left. Beliefs like, I'm not lovable, I wasn't enough, this always happens to me, I'll never be chosen. You kneel beside it, gently, with reverence. You open the lid. You take each belief in your hands. You say, I believe this because I was in pain, but this is not the truth. And you let it go. One by one, like petals returning to the wind, you release every thought that was born from someone else's inability to love you. Because that's what it was, their inability, not your unworthiness. You stand now, lighter, clearer, different. The room doesn't feel as heavy. The silence doesn't sting the same because in naming what hurt, you reclaim what's yours. You walk to the window, it's been shut for a long time. You unlatch it. Fresh air rushes in, a breeze touches your skin. You didn't know how much you needed this breath. The one that says you are not stuck in that moment anymore. You step back, and from the doorway, you look around the room one more time. It no longer holds your shame, only your story. And your story is sacred, not because it's perfect, but because you're still here, loving, trusting, becoming. You whisper, I forgive you, not because you earned it, but because I deserve to be free. You close your eyes and you feel something move, not out there, but in here. Your chest expands, your throat softens. The tears you've held back no longer need holding. You let them fall, each one a tiny key, unlocking a little more space inside you. This is what forgiveness feels like. Not forgetting, not excusing, but allowing yourself to exist without the cage of someone else's wound. You leave the room, but now you do so differently. You walk with more space in your body, more quiet in your mind, more presence in your heart. Because now you know what left was never bigger than what remains. What broke was never stronger than what still beats. You lie down now, back in the warmth of your bed, but your soul feels different, unburdened. And in that unburdening, you discover something surprising: gratitude. Not for the pain, but for your capacity, to feel, to hold, to forgive, to set yourself free. You place a hand on your heart. It beats steady, brave, ready. You say softly, I give myself permission to no longer live from that room. I am not what they couldn't carry. I am the love that stayed. The night leans in, the stars shimmer, not in sympathy and celebration. Because you've done something so few know how to do. You've loved yourself through a letting go that had no apology to hold on to. And now you rest, not because everything is finished, but because you've begun. You've entered the sacred practice of unhooking your peace from someone else's presence, and in that, you reclaim the power to choose your next moment freely. The past may visit, but it no longer defines you. The sound may echo, but it no longer directs you. You lie on your side. Pillow cradles you like memory never could. The sheets wrap around you like forgiveness in fabric form. And just before sleep takes your hand, you whisper, tomorrow I wake without the weight. Tonight I sleep without the ache. The story is still mine, but the pain is no longer the other. And in that truth, you drift into the gentle, sacred beginning of freedom. Tonight, you remember how light you were before the weight, before the bitterness settled quietly in your breath, before the memories clung to your ribs like old vines you never meant to water. You lie back. Gently, the bed beneath you doesn't ask for explanations. It simply holds, it simply softens. And you begin to rise within, because this is not just sleep. This is a return to the part of you that still believes in peace, still believes in mornings without ache, still believes that freedom is not a reward, but a right. Forgiveness has already begun in the quiet decision you made to stop carrying what wasn't yours. In the whisper you gave yourself, I deserve peace even if they never say sorry. And now, you go deeper. This isn't about them anymore. This is about you and the lightness that has always waited beneath the story of hurt. You take a breath. You imagine yourself walking barefoot through a wide, open field. The grass brushes your ankles like a mother's fingertips. The sky above is soft gray, kind that comes before a gentle rain. There's nothing here but you, and space, and sky, and the soft pull of forgiveness moving like a current beneath your ribs. You begin to remember you were not born with resentment. You learned it to survive. You held on to the pain because it gave your wound a name. But now, you're ready to let go of the name and keep the wisdom instead. You walk further. Each step, a release. Each breath, a loosening, until you come to a small river. It hums low, like an old song that your soul knows by heart. You sit at the bank. The water is clear. You can see your reflection, not the one etched by pain, but the one just beneath it. The one that looks back at you with understanding, with softness, with knowing. You close your eyes. You place your hands in the water, and you begin to let go. Not in thought, in feeling. You see the faces, the names, the memories that once anchored you to sorrow. But tonight, you do not relive them. You do not rehearse them. You release them. You imagine each one as a leaf, placed gently in the stream, not thrown, not shoved, just offered, like a prayer. Each one floats away, carried by the current that knows exactly where to take them. This is forgiveness, not forgetting, not justifying, but offering the pain back to the universe to be transmuted. Because you no longer need it to define your depth. You are already deep. You are already whole. The stream sparkles now, as if grateful for your surrender, as if saying, this is how we become light again. You lie back on the grass, and for the first time in a long time, you feel spaciousness inside your chest, the kind of space that doesn't echo with ache, but with peace. You whisper, I do not carry this anymore. I do not feed it. I do not wear it. And the stars begin to appear one by one like soft yeses from the universe. You feel them in your body, tiny lights turning back on, places you shut down when the pain felt too sharp, places that said it's not safe to love again. But now something has shifted. You realize you are not afraid of being hurt again. You are afraid of never feeling free, and forgiveness is your way forward. Not to open the door to those who hurt you, but to open the window to the you that was hidden behind the pain. You walk again, this time into a warm, familiar house. The floor creaks with love. The walls hum. The air smells of jasmine and rain. You move to the mirror, and what you see is not broken. It is braved out. Your reflection smiles, not because it's easy, but because it's true. You touch your heart, it beats differently now, not guarded, not clenched, but open. You speak softly, I forgive, not because they deserve it, but because I do. I deserve to be free. I deserve to sleep without chains. The wind outside agrees. It brushes the curtains in long, slow waves, each one a lullaby. You lie down in your dream bed now. The one inside your vision, the one that holds only you. And your lightness, the mattress embraces your shape. The pillow kisses your temple. The blanket wraps around you like a choice you finally made. A choice to return to yourself. A choice to love again. A choice to feel again, but without the residue. You drift now. Every breath a little lighter. Every thought a little softer. Every heartbeat a little more yours. And before you fully cross the bridge into sleep, you hear voice not from outside, but from within. It says you did not let them win. You let yourself begin. The words settle. They root. They glow. You are beginning again. Without the bitterness. Without the heaviness. Without the lie that says you must stay hurt to stay whole. You are not broken. You are rebuilding, and the foundation is peace. You curl into yourself like a child who knows they are safe. And just before the night carries you under, you whisper, I am light now, and I am free. The stars hold your breath. The air stills around you, and somewhere, deep in the soft hum of everything, the universe forgives with you.